Alright, hello, how's everyone? Let's get a quick audio and visual check. Can you hear me okay? Is everything alright? Shout out to Phil in the comment section, as usual, tuning into the live streams, telling everyone to smash up that thumbs up button. If you already know that this is going to be the live stream that calms you down, makes you feel a little bit less nauseous with the trend, a little bit more comfortable. Getting a small pump on Bitcoin right now. I'm going to be breaking down for you everything I'm seeing here with this chart. I'm going to be breaking down for you my concerns, what I think is going to happen next, how I'm trading it, because I am in a trade right now. VIPs already know. It was in a 30% profit about 5 minutes ago. Maybe a little bit less than 5 minutes, a little bit more than 5 minutes ago. But hopefully, yeah, all right, everything's good, loud and clear. Very, very good. How are we all today? Thank you all for tuning in. We've had 300 lives today at the beginning. I think that's an all-time high for one of our live streams. And thank you for already getting us to 100 likes. We're 10% of the way to our bottlenecked target, it seems. I've been hanging out with Tone Vase, different indicator. Yeah. So, man, this is, to date, the most complicated indicator I have ever used. And I'm not going to talk to you about it until the end of the live stream. It is the most complicated indicator, and it's one of the best I've ever seen. So I have been hanging out with Tone Vase. You guys know he is like my role model. No, he's not like, he is my role model. I only have one in the crypto space. I've been saying it for a long time. It's Tone Vase. He's the only guy I still watch. So you can imagine how much I fanboyed when he was sitting in my Ferrari a few days ago, because I never expected that would happen. But here we go. Hello from San Diego. How you guys doing out in the United States? It's the 1st of March here in Dubai. Just crossed midnight. Let's get straight into this analysis. So let's break down what happened first. Bitcoin ended up pumping up to $58,000, as we know very well. We then dumped down to a low originally of 46,000, had a big reaction rally upwards, a dead cat bounce, so to speak, and then fell down again. After that, we did something that I didn't expect. I thought Bitcoin would break down from here, but it didn't. It ended up pumping up to support, and it got rejected at the $52,000 resistance area that I was talking about. From that rejection, we ended up trading here, and the key thing that I kept saying to you guys many times throughout the previous live streams and videos is that if we trade sideways at this range right here, I would expect that we break down. This is the key thing that I was saying to you guys on repeat over the last few videos. If we trade sideways here for any significant period of time, I would expect that we break down. And I actually give you a date. I actually gave you a date, which was 26th or 27th of February. So we were 1 day late. Oops. And Bitcoin has now taken a little bit of a dive downwards. First of all, why did that happen? Why did we get this dive? The reason I think that we got this dive is, and by the way, please save your messages for later, because we get too many messages in the comment section now, so I won't see them if you don't do that. But sorry, if you do that. But I think the reason we broke down over here was that Bitcoin was trading sideways, and any time that you trade sideways close to an important level, your probability of breaking that level is higher. Your probability of breaking a certain level when you trade sideways is higher. And the reason for that is people are starting to get comfortable in that price range. So if they get comfortable, it's a little bit more reasonable in most people's eyes to then push the price up over here or down over here. And the key thing here as well is that we had two sideways ranges. It's only the one downwards that broke. And the reason I think it broke is because we have been undeniably in a downtrend now for a week. Right, 7 days ago we entered a downtrend, $58,000 Bitcoin topped out at, and we have been trading downwards ever since, which means that the bias in this market in the short term, is bearish. And so if we form a sign that's bullish or neutral, a bullish sign becomes neutral to me, a neutral sign becomes bearish, a bearish sign becomes very concerning. And that's what we had right here. We didn't end up breaking the resistance, And then we did something which, in my opinion, wasn't even a neutral sign. I mean, yeah, it's the same pattern we saw before, but we shouldn't be consolidating around support, and I think that's why we plunged lower. Now, that's really important, what I've just been saying to you over the past couple of minutes, because this actually directly influenced my most recent trade. Those of you inside of the VIP group know exactly what I did, but right here with this chart, I entered a short position at this yellow line, which was $46,850. And I've been trading it all the way down now to this green line over here, which was 35% profit. The reason I entered this short position was because we were consolidating at a support level, which I didn't want to see. You can't see the full chart? You're not supposed to. I think it's cropped correctly. You're not supposed to see the full chart because of my computer's aspect ratio, but I did enter this trade because we were consolidating at support, and we had momentum resistance that caught up to the trend with the EMA ribbon, and we had Ichimoku resistance that caught up to the trend. So in the end, Bitcoin did end up crumbling under that pressure. And I think that's very important, because you guys heard me say very clearly in my previous live stream that I don't like taking up short positions in the market. I don't like putting money behind the idea of the market falling in an exponential bull market, in a parabolic bull market rally. However, there are exceptions, and I don't feel comfortable with them. And so I told VIPs when I entered this position that I was just using a small allocation, but I did trade it nonetheless, and I was expecting this move downwards. So this happened very, very nicely. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is we got this dump, but how does this affect the trend? See, overall, what I've been saying is that the main target I have for Bitcoin is between $42,000 and $40,000, this $2,000 gap right here. This is the main target that I have for Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin to fall down here, and then I think we're going up. And a lot of you guys in the comments, shout out to you guys who tuned in before the live stream started. You mentioned that you need the voice of calm and reason in your lives right now after all of these FORFLIES needing the calm, sensible analysis, please, you know, because a lot of people started panicking with this with this dump. And here's the thing, you guys are gonna love this. My analysis from the beginning was that this is going to be hopefully the bottom for the market. We'll only drop down here somewhere in this $2,000 range and then pump right back up. And we're doing that, and my analysis hasn't changed. I don't see any reason now to think that we will penetrate below this level. I certainly think it's possible to fall as low as $38,000. The reason for that is that was, actually you can see it very clearly on my Gemini chart, that was our previous trading range where we set the all-time high. So I've drawn this big green box for you, beautiful green box, very, very cleanly drawn. This is exactly, you know, kind of where our point of interest on the chart stretches down to, roughly 30,000. I'm sorry, this is the wrong one. It's right down here. This is where the point of interest on the chart kind of falls down to. So I should actually draw another box right now to represent that, to save confusion. So let me extend this outwards to about that. That's good enough. And I'll just actually, just for the sake of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. For the sake of something, I'm going to make it a little bit easier to spot the difference between these two levels. So there you go. That's a blue line. That's a blue box. This is how low I think, you know, if Bitcoin falls into the green area, it's good. If Bitcoin falls into the blue area, I'll start getting a little bit concerned, but I still think it's a potential bounce zone. And that analysis still hasn't changed, because we are still, whether you like it or not, we are still in a very bullish rally. This is a super healthy rally overall as far as an exponential bull market can go. They're not healthy to begin with, but within that, it's very healthy. And so I think we are doing very, very well. And these kind of pullbacks, I think, are super typical. You know, I had a question from somebody close to me who I'm not going to reveal this person's identity, but you guys probably know who this person is. This person asked me, do I think that the bull market is over? And I answered with, no, I don't think the bull market is over, because we usually have a massive blow off top. This was a blow off top, but I don't think it's a massive one. We usually have a massive blow off top. And actually, before I move on, the kind of blow off top you usually get would look something a little bit like this. I mean, it would be pretty extreme. Our top right here looked like this. You know, it looked more like this. But a real blow off top, I don't know how to demonstrate this properly, would look more like that. You know, it'll be like a straight rocket ship up. I mean, it's going to be crazy. It only started arcing to be a little bit more crazy right at the end. That's not what a blow off top typically looks like. So that is to say, this trend, in my opinion, did not have enough strength to be a blow off top. Very, very important. That's number one. Number two, we usually also have a massive dead cat bounce. So that means in order to have a massive dead cat bounce, you need to drop massively. And ladies and gents, we only dropped by 20% at the beginning. So when we had our blow off top in 2017 from $20,000, it dropped down where? To $10,000. It halved in like a week or something. So to be fair, this is not going to halve in a week, but it's down by 24%. So it's still pretty substantial, but it's nowhere near as intense as it was before. And the dead cat bounce, as a result of that massive price correction that happens initially, that dead cat bounce is usually extremely strong. And that's very important because it restores a lot of people's faith in the trend. And again, just because the dump wasn't super strong, the pump that came afterwards wasn't super strong either. It was only plus 17%. So I'm going to show you how this looked with a real blow off top, you know, to really prove, because look, the first thing I want to do is establish, is the bull market over, yes or no? Obviously, I think the answer is no. And I want to show you why by going back to what happened in 2017. And this is undeniable right here. I know it doesn't look like it, but Bitcoin did half over here. Maybe this is the wrong chart. Yeah, this is not a very accurate chart to show it to you on, but you're still going to see the raw data. I mean, you're going to get the point. Bitcoin with this blow off top, it took 5 days from the all-time high day to drop by nearly half. And depending on which chart you look at, it actually dropped by more than half. So right here, Bitstamp, it's a little bit less aggressive, but you know, down by 43%. And then that dead cat rally pumps by 50%. So comparatively, our dump went down by 20% and our recovery went up by 17%. These numbers are nowhere near what we saw with the blow off top and subsequent dead cat bounce of 2017. You know, it's not even half the energy that we had back here. And the thing we need to keep in mind is our current bull rally is, depending on how you define it, a little bit more aggressive than what we had last time. So I would definitely expect a deeper correction this time and a much stronger dead cat bounce. But we didn't get them. This entire correction from the beginning, in my opinion, compared to this on screen, has been lacking strength. And if that's the case, it tells me if the trend, this downtrend, is lacking strength, that tells me it's also lacking conviction. And if it's lacking conviction, that tells me that there are not necessarily big, smart, big money traders behind this dump, thinking that the market is going to crash down to zero or down 80-90%. This, to me, what we're in right now, because it's a lot less severe than what we saw before, looks certainly like it's much more so just a long squeeze, you know, something to scare people out of the market, drop the market back down to an accumulation level. And this leads into another point that I've been saying continuously on this YouTube channel. Those of you who've been subscribed, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've heard any of our recent videos before this top, I was constantly saying two things. Number one, smart people don't buy at the top. Smart people, big institutions don't buy at the top. I don't care what your other crypto YouTuber that jacks himself off to this price action tells you. Smart people don't buy at the top. Big money is big because it's smart. And so big money and smart are the same thing. Big money, smart money doesn't buy at the top. They buy on pullbacks and they buy at accumulation ranges. Bam, right here. This is the clearest accumulation range that we've had in recent times. We literally drop down into a range. We trade sideways in it. We test, what have I done here? We test a range on the lows twice. We test the high. And broadly speaking, most of the price action trades within a very narrow price range between $31,200 and $32,800. That's a $1,500 price gap, which is a small percentage. I don't know what that is, like 5%? Yeah, it's about a 5% price gap. So it's just a minor fluctuation that the market broadly travels in. And, you know, to give you an idea, it's traveling there for 4 days. So that's, you know, when you've got bots accumulating Bitcoin at this kind of price level, 4 days is enough to accumulate enough Bitcoins. This is where smart money buys. And so again, we go back to the idea that I don't think that this market bull run is over. I don't think that there's enough conviction behind this sell-off. I don't think that there are serious players really strongly betting on the market going significantly lower. That tells me that at worst, this is just smart big players trying to buy Bitcoin at a much healthier price level before the retail, i.e. the idiots for the most part, before they kind of get back on the trend and start making money again. Because it's the clearest thing ever. I'm not going to repeat it too much. You don't need me to say it all the time, but it's the clearest thing ever that the retail are rarely ever the key winners in the market. Look at GameStop. You guys remember the craze around GameStop like a month ago or something like that? Look at this shit. You guys thought you were getting rich off GameStop? Come on, come on, be serious. Retail doesn't make money like this. This is not, this is not how the market works. The small guy, I'm sorry to say, we're all small guys on this channel. Let's be honest, unless you're really, really smart or you do things much better than the rest of the people in the game, you're not going to be making money on pipe dreams like this, right? And you can see that very clearly. GameStop is now trading within the shadow of where it was just a month ago, right? And there's nothing clearer than that to tell me that that things can look rosy for a while, but the only serious interest will come in when the bigger players are in here. So I think that's the first thing I want to touch on, because if I don't think that the market is going to crash minus 80%, that can really help me put this analysis into some perspective and carry on from there. Before I carry on though, I want to mention, if you are enjoying this live stream so far, if you're finding it useful, if it's calmed you down a little bit, if you feel like these are legitimate points that you haven't considered, please smash up the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are still dealing with the shadow ban issue on this YouTube channel. A shadow ban means that this YouTube channel is not banned. It's not close to being banned. We don't violate any conditions, but they are not promoting this YouTube channel for a couple of reasons. And I think the main one is just that there are so many fucking scammers in the comment section these days that people are losing money and YouTube's just not promoting their videos. It's hitting a lot of YouTubers across the space. I think our channel is one of the hardest hits. So your click on that like button really goes a long way for me. So if you think this is useful, if the algorithm thought you would like it despite the shadow ban by showing you this video, if you think that was true, please do me that favor. That's what I want to start with. I don't think that this market rally is coming to an end, and so moving forward, how do I continue to? YouTube doesn't like the crypto theme. Yeah, that's true. Moving forward, how do I analyze this market? Well, it's the same thing I've been saying before. I definitely think that the market is going to reverse when we hit this level, because it's a strong area of support. It's been a strong area of support for a long time. I've already told you why. This all-time high triggered a big bear market in terms of price correction and a big bear market in terms of time correction. So there's only two types of corrections you get in a market. Number one, price. Number two, time. This all-time high triggered both. And so for the same reason of it being a very strong resistance area, I expect that it should be able to flip into a quite useful support area. And I think that's quite important to keep in mind. So there you go, some important notes over there on some of those on some of those areas. I've got some questions about covering coins like Cardano. It's been blowing up. There's no surprises here. So we were talking about this on the channel as well. I will talk about Cardano in a bit. I will cover Link a little bit as well. And we'll look at some of the other markets, including Ethereum. Unfortunately, I have some very bad news for Ethereum, which really upsets me, because first of all, it means my analysis on Ethereum was completely wrong, like absolutely 100% wrong. I'm really glad I didn't trade it, so I didn't lose money on it, but I certainly lost a little bit of pride. And we'll get to the other stuff later. We'll even look at the dollar in a little bit, so bear with me. We're just going to stick to Bitcoin for now. I do expect that the bounce could be coming at this range. Now, the other thing that I want to mention for why I think we're going down to this range is because Bitcoin has left areas that I would consider to be high interest in the market, and it doesn't have any other high interest areas. And how do I define high interest? Just something that a lot of people have their eyes on. The fact is, ladies and gents, that a lot of people have their eyes on levels like $42,000 more than they have their eyes on a level like $44,000. And the reason for that is, if we zoom in a little bit more, The only time throughout Bitcoin's history that Bitcoin has ever traded in this price range was over here, and right now. There is not much price history of Bitcoin trading at this range. That's number one. Number two, there's not much significant price history. So not only is there a low frequency of events, that is not only is there a small number of events that happen at this price range, they're also insignificant. And so when you've got one insignificant level up here, which in our case, let's call it 47,000, 52,000, you know, like one of those two levels, doesn't really matter. If you've got one important level up here and another important level down here and nothing really in between, you got New York right here, LA over here, flyover states in the middle. You're gonna go from New York to LA. And this right here is where I think, you know, like LA would be. And this is where I'd see New York. You know, like if we fail this range, I'd expect we're going down to the next one down here. And that's because this is the next important price area that I think a lot of people have their eyes on. I've now covered this from a psychological perspective, but also from a technical perspective, because what I've just done there for you is basically outline what the VPVR would have told us already. I can show this to you on my Gemini chart. Bear with me as I pull that up and blow your minds really quickly. If you don't already know, the VPVR is one of my favorite indicators that I don't use often, because to be fair, I just don't need it. I can do quite well without it, but clear as day, ladies and gents, clear as day. There's a big spike on the VPVR right here. The next big spike starts right in the $40,000 to $42,000 range with this green box. In between, there is a valley on the VPVR. We're looking at the right-hand side of the chart. There is a valley on the VPVR, which represents a low area of trading volume. When we leave a high area of trading volume, in this case moving downwards, we will typically end up hitting the next area of high volume trading. This means there's been a lot of trading that happened at this price level between 46,500 and 48,000. There's been a lot of trading that happened in this range, and a lot of trading that's happened like all the way down over here, but very little that's happened over here. And so we usually use these gaps as essentially like teleportation devices where we will fall from one area of high volume to the next, or we will rise from one area of high volume to the next. So I think that's very important to keep in mind. Look right here, we've got another small spike on the VPVR. This is actually quite hard to demonstrate to you, but I'm sure if I zoom in, it'll work a little bit better. Just to prove this point again, you know, a small spike on the VPVR right here. And so it's no surprise that if we trace this back all the way over here, this is where we top out. We don't top out where we have a valley. Look at my crosshair. We don't top out in the valley, we top out at the spikes. So that's because we typically tend to gravitate towards the spikes. That's just because there's a lot of volume traded there. They're psychologically charged levels. There are technically charged levels. And so when you've got something that's technically important on the analysis side and psychologically important, it's a pretty good combination. So that's the other reason that I think we're falling down to 42,000. This is essentially where we are right now, is a flyover state. And it's just, you know, like we're headed to the other side that people actually want to get to. That's where I see this. That's why I see this market headed down now. I wish I could tell you that this market was going to recover up now, and I definitely think that it could, but I'm in a short position and I'm fully intending on it dropping lower. The final profit taking area that I have on this short position right now is $42,000. Honestly, I don't think we're going to go much lower than that, so I might just close my whole position around this level. But I have some space in case Bitcoin does fall down to a level like 38,000. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's super unlikely, but if it does, I'm ready, just in case. Some questions on how to get the VPVR indicator. The VPVR indicator, you can find my tutorial on it by typing this into YouTube in a new tab. Open a new tab, type this into the YouTube search bar, VPVR, and then my YouTube channel, FORFLIES. You will find my tutorial on this indicator, which will show you how to get it, how to use it, my best practices, and some general tips I've got on it. This is the same for all of the 3 key indicators I use. Ichimoku Cloud, EMA Ribbon, VPVR. These are the only key indicators I use, and at that I use them very rarely because I don't need them. My core analysis tells me the same thing anyway. This is just an easy way to visualize it. There is a catch with this indicator, unfortunately. This indicator is only accessible if you have a paid plan on the TradingView platform. So if you don't know where I'm carrying out my analysis right now, I'm doing it on TradingView. The link is in the description for you to sign up and help this channel out as well, where you can sign up to TradingView and get a paid plan. I think they start at like $10 or something, so it's pretty easy to get for anybody. But right there, I think that Bitcoin is in a range that nobody's particularly interested in. The best analogy I have for this is really that these ranges are like flyover states, and you know, I've given you analysis along these lines a lot. If I switch over to Ethereum for a minute, not looking at the trend right here, but throughout a price range more like $400 to $800, I made it super clear in my analysis that I saw, you know, again, I think I'm going to stick to this analogy of New York to LA, or I'm wondering if there's another very good analogy, like maybe Dubai to Singapore or something. I don't know, but you know, the two like hub destinations that people want to get to, $800 and $400, and whatever happens in between usually happens pretty quickly without much interruption, and then you're back down to the next important area. So this is exactly the same analysis that I was using to say that I would expect once Ethereum breaks the $400 range that we would rise right up to the $800 range, and once Ethereum breaks the $800 range, I would expect Ethereum to reach the all-time high. Because I saw this essentially as, for example, let's just stick into New York, LA, because it's simple. This would be like New York, this would be like LA. We would just kind of teleport between the two. As soon as we break the resistance right here, we would just go straight up. You don't like the analogy? I think it's a pretty good one. You live in a flyover state. Yeah, flyover states are cool. I don't know why they get so much hate, but you know, it's a very, very good analogy where it just kind of teleports to the next one. I actually traded this move a few times, so that went very well. There were some small losses and big wins that I made throughout this trend. That was very, very fun. Of course, as usual, every single trade that I make goes inside of the VIP group. The VIP group is where I'm sharing all the information on exactly what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, giving you all the details. Right here is the information that I shared with VIP members after talking about this position a little bit. Not actually talking about the position, but talking about how I saw Bitcoin being bearish, where I mentioned that I've decided to enter a short here at the current price with a small allocation. I should mention that after my post, Bitcoin actually went quite high. It nearly stopped me out, if I'm not mistaken. It got pretty close to my stop loss. I think it was on this wick. So as soon as I entered my position, it was still safe to enter for me for like another, I don't know, like 12 hours or something. It was a long time to wait. Maybe not 12 hours, but it was a long time to wait. So I did say I was entering at the current price, but that's only because I'm impatient. I could have entered a lot later. I just chose not to, and you'll see why. I listed for VIP members the main reasons I was doing it. I think it looks comfortable enough, considering I can make my stop loss very tight. So my stop loss was only minus 19%, and I was essentially, with the analysis that I gave earlier, I was expecting Bitcoin to drop. I mentioned that the EMA ribbons on the hourly and 4-hour chart are now giving Bitcoin some selling pressure. The stock market's gold taking a beating. There was also Ichimoku resistance. It was trading independent, like I mentioned towards the beginning of this live stream. There were a lot of reasons for me to enter this trade, and one reason that I shouldn't enter the trade as well. But right here, all of the targets I was using, my exact stop loss, the exact entry level I used for this trade, and it's visualized on this chart. So for those of you who don't know, the green lines are the price targets I have. This is plus 12%, this is plus 35%, this is plus 50%. Yep, those are the correct numbers. The yellow line is always my entry level, and the red line is always my stop loss. So this is how clearly I give you my analysis inside of the VIP group and my trades. I tell you exactly what I'm trading inside of the group with this much clarity. I mean, there's no room for interpretation. You will know exactly what I'm doing with this chart. And the whole thing was, I was expecting this dump because we were trading at these ranges. So this is one of many trades. Obviously, I've been trading for a long time, and VIPs see absolutely every trade I make with the reasoning I should be entering it, the reasons I shouldn't, and then the future developments that go into those trades. So there's actually quite a bit, which I can show you, but I actually haven't screenshotted it. But there's another post right here where I'm talking about how I moved my stop loss to break even. How long was this? This was, I entered the trade at 4 p.m., nearly 5 p.m. local time. And you guys always ask me, which time zones do we operate in for FORFLIES VIP? All of them, because the next post that I made with regards to the position, one of the next posts I made was at 3 a.m. So I personally, it's midnight here. It's 12:30 a.m. I'm up all the time. You know, like I mean, I sleep a lot, but then you know other members of our team come online, so we covered like nearly 24 hours. It's very rare that we don't. So at 3 a.m. local time, which was about 11:30 p.m. UK time, about 3:30 p.m. Los Angeles, I put out this post saying that my stop loss was at break even. Very, very impressive trade execution there. And then some more updates on how I was taking profits. It's been a very, very good position so far. A lot of VIP members alongside me making some really, really good gains. This is one of the older testimonials we got actually from about a month and a half ago. But here's a recent one that we got just today. This person absolutely you know, just killing it here with a 1.47 Ethereum profit. I mean, this is like $2,000 or something. This person's made in looks like a day. You know, doing quite well. And no, I'm sorry, this wasn't in a day. This was, he didn't actually say. So yeah, reading a book, doing very, very well. It's a very impressive profit. We've got another one right here. This one is also super, super impressive. I'm going to put it over this one right here once it loads up. This one's, I really want to show this to you. I hope it loads up. But this guy here mentioning that he made $25,000. So it doesn't look like it's loading up, which is a real shame. But if you guys want to join the VIP group, you can join it by following these steps on screen, where you can click on the first link in the description down below. That's going to take you to our free Telegram channel, where I give you a lot of free analysis, even some insights into the trades I'm making. Then click on the @FORFLIES button, and then click on the send message button to ask me how to join VIP. That testimonial has just loaded up now, so I'm going to bring it over for you. Bam, look at that. Yesterday was an amazing day, made 25,000 euros. That is 25,000, right? Or is it 25? I'm pretty sure it's 25,000. Hope you have a great day. Let's smash it. Big swings are absolutely the way. The intraday trades have lost me 30k in profits, and these weak swings are making it back. So this person, having lost a lot of money before joining the game, before joining VIP, but now nearly recovered all of it in just a day. So things can, this is the nature of trading. Things can turn around really quickly. It doesn't mean they will, and it doesn't mean it's likely to, but it's certainly possible. And a lot of people are able to achieve this inside of the VIP group. I should also mention that a lot of people also lose money inside of the VIP group. You know, one of the key things that I'll say to you all the time is that we can't fix gamblers in the VIP. Like, if you're gonna come in with a shitty trading attitude, you're gonna lose more money. First of all, you're gonna be pissed at me because you paid to join VIP and you can't use it properly, and then you're gonna be pissed at yourself because you didn't actually fix anything when you paid so much money. So you know, we can't fix gamblers, but if you're serious about it, if you want to learn how to do these things in clinical, safe, healthy ways, but still make very sexy numbers right here, then there you go. The steps are on screen. I am going to start going through your questions right now as well. And like I said, I mean, this is the big thing about trading. I mean, things can go absolutely terrible for you for a month, and then you can hit it big with one trade. It can just completely reverse everything. Obviously, it's even easier to screw it up than it is to make money, but it's still possible. And here we have a very recent example of a VIP member doing exactly that. We've got some more as well, some more testimonials, but I don't think that they've been saved. So yeah, unfortunately not saved, but there's been quite a few. I'm trying to avoid showing you the old ones, like yeah, I've actually refreshed most of them now. But if you do want to join VIP, you want to find out how to join, then the steps are on screen. I am going to start going through your questions now, like I said. So please drop them in the comments if you have any. And I think I will head over to Ethereum as well for a minute. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. But right here, this teleportation thing is exactly why I think that Bitcoin has a pretty good chance actually of dropping down to that 42k level now, because we are just kind of in the middle of nowhere. We can still bounce here. Hopefully we will, but I don't think we will. And so, and if we do, my stop loss is at break even, you know, so my trade isn't going to be hit. And this is the thing. I mean, like, trading is also not supposed to be super stressful. And there are a lot of things you can do to remove the stress, which will also quite usefully make your trades a lot healthier. You know, like you'll lose less money. Not necessarily measures that'll make you more money, but it'll stop you from losing money. And one of the key ones is like I said, you know, I move my stop loss to break even really quickly. I mentioned right here, I will move my stop loss to my entry level as soon as Bitcoin dives below 45k. So it was quite easy to do that on this position, you know. So those updates always come in real time inside of the VIP group as well. But I do definitely think that there's a lot of potential for Bitcoin to keep dropping a little bit lower. As far as timeframes go, because everyone's interested in that, I literally think it could be done by tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, where in my time zone it's Monday already. And so I definitely think that, you know, on this open, when US opens on Monday, which would be in like 12 hours or something. I don't know, a long time away, a long time away, maybe like 16 hours away. But when there is the open 9 a.m. New York, or whatever in the United States, I definitely think that, you know, by that time we could have one final little leg down, and I fully expect it to be, you know, something quite like a V-shaped correction. This is what I would really like to see, and I would gain a lot of confidence in the trend right there. The thing to keep in mind is that because Bitcoin is still at an absolutely beautiful price level of $44,000, you know, compared to before, this is still really good. The thing to keep in mind right here is that this euphoria, this fear of missing out in the market, it can return to the market really quickly. You know, like, it's not actually going to be, in my opinion, too difficult for this euphoria to return to the market. And if that's the case, I definitely think it's going to be quite an easy rise up for Bitcoin from here. You know, I mean, all we need is that quick V-shaped bounce. It's going to take us up to like $46,000 in a day or two, and then excitement will just carry it up, you know, and we don't have strong resistance up ahead. I think this is the other thing to really keep in mind for Bitcoin that makes me very optimistic right now. You know, the title of this live stream, Stop Panicking. I think that this crypto dump is complete, or at least nearly complete. $100,000 coming soon, because we don't have heavy resistance here. You know, like we have resistance, and it's something, you know, like it's not like super weak either, but you know, if there's a spectrum, you know, and on this side is very heavy resistance, on this side is very weak resistance, I'd say like we're right around over here in terms of the resistance that the chart has. You know, like there's really not much that's going to stop the trend as soon as that fear of missing out returns. And if that's the case, I think that all it's going to take is one quick, very quick, substantial bounce upwards. Excitement's going to carry it up. And I don't expect to find any significant resistance in these areas. So I think that Bitcoin should be able to rise up to 60K very quickly. And again, when that happens, we are just looking at psychological resistance areas. We are just looking at areas like 60K, 75, 80, 100, you know, these big round numbers that people are going to be scared of. This is where I think we're going to start finding resistance again as soon as this fear of missing out returns to the market. And we bring it back to what I said earlier on in the live stream. Shout out to those of you tuning in now. We are at 1,400 viewers, so please smash up the likes if you've been enjoying this live stream so far. I do my absolute best for you. Here I am at midnight, so I would really appreciate it. I don't get me wrong, I love it, you know, like I really look forward to these live streams. I've turned down so many parties and things like that to do these because it's just more fun, because I guess I'm an introvert apparently, but I say that I'm talking to bloody 1,400 people, so maybe not, but but yeah, I definitely think that you know, once that excitement returns to the market, and it absolutely will, I fully expect it to, in my opinion, because you know, like I've already outlined for you towards the beginning of this live stream, I don't think that this rally, I don't think that this drop is happening because the bull market is over. You know, I still think that there's a lot of steam left in this market. I still think that this market can keep rallying upwards for even like a year from now, and or at least, you know, like another 6 months, being conservative, because you guys know I give conservative estimates. You know, I don't like to be too over the top about it. You know, I definitely think this market still has a lot more bullish energy left in it to play out over the next few months, take us to new all-time highs. And one of the biggest reasons for that is that this dump, what I outlined for you at the beginning of the live stream, is that this dump is not representative of a market topping out and crashing massively and having a big bear market. This, and I've pointed out very clearly for you, the top we have here is not similar at all in terms of intensity to the top that we had in 2017, which is very important. The top that we had in 2017, which triggered a 3-4 year bear market, whatever, this top is very different in my opinion, and it's not nearly as intense. I'm gonna have to go shut these kids up in a second. Oh god. There's a bunch of ecom kids that moved into the office block. They're French, so that's all I need to say. I'm sorry, French people, but you know, I live in the United Arab Emirates. I'm still British, so French, God, right? But they're actually, and believe it or not, these guys are younger than me. There's actually a group of successful kids that I've met. I don't like them, but they're younger than me. But yeah, I think that's important. So I want to switch it over to Ethereum now. Unfortunately, my tone's going to change a little bit with Ethereum now. Ethereum has broken my heart. Ethereum has you know, the all-time high was these two lines right here. I don't know, it was one of these lines. Doesn't matter. It was one of these lines, and it was this blue and green line. This was the previous all-time high for Ethereum. And you know what I mentioned again for Ethereum, same as Bitcoin, is that if Ethereum trades sideways here, I would expect it to dip lower. And actually, it's Ethereum that made me interested in going short on Bitcoin, because when I saw this weakness on Ethereum, you know, whatever happens with Ethereum is typically going to happen the same on Bitcoin. When I saw this weakness on Ethereum, I expected that it was going to carry through to Bitcoin, and that's why I traded the short position on Bitcoin, because in all honesty, I was in a little bit of disbelief that Ethereum would drop. It did, but you know, I mean, I didn't really expect it to. I didn't expect it to fall below the all-time high. Yeah, it's moved in similar amounts to Bitcoin, so it was fine to trade Bitcoin. I didn't really miss out on any reward. I'm not 16, no, I'm a little bit older than that. Not much older though. But yeah, Ethereum, you know, this is the thing. It has broken below the previous all-time high. I'm sorry, the all-time high from 2018, which was 3 years ago. And you know what's concerning about this is it's not like it's dropped below the all-time high by a small margin. If I'm not mistaken, this is the all-time high, this blue line. Well, it depends on which exchange you're using, but if you draw it down to the low that we set, Ethereum has dropped by 10% below this all-time high. So I definitely think that Ethereum can recover. However, you know, it has done what I consider to be the unthinkable. You know, I mean, it's not going to be long until Ethereum has a close below the previous all-time high level. It's only about 3 hours left until this daily candle closes on the UTC time zone, and just to see that we've dropped below the all-time high, this is super bearish. You know, I mean, we shouldn't be doing that, and the reason we shouldn't be doing that, in my opinion, is because when we find a strong area of support, it's supposed to be something that you know, like the previous all-time high, it's supposed to be something that we never penetrate below, purely because speculative buyers will re-enter the market very quickly. And the fact that they didn't here tells me that there's just not much buying interest for Ethereum at the moment, and that's super concerning, because there's nothing really that's more bullish in a bull market, in my opinion, than falling down to the old all-time high and finding support. You know, there's nothing much that's more bullish than that in a market. And here we are in, you know, what should have been the most bullish thing for Ethereum, and it's just fallen through. And you know, this really is a situation where, in my opinion, it had a beautiful chance to do something absolutely amazing, and it just bloody failed. It absolutely catastrophically failed, and that is something that I am quite upset about. As for what I think Ethereum will do from here, I think that Ethereum from here has some potential to rise up to the previous all-time high and find some resistance. This depends a lot on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin continues to rise up, then I think it should be able to carry Ethereum higher. However, if Bitcoin shows any weakness, or if Bitcoin trades sideways, I think that Ethereum will end up finding resistance here and end up dropping a lot lower. I don't really have any targets for Ethereum right now. It's got a lot of support, broadly speaking, in these ranges, so I shouldn't be too concerned. But I mean, if it's broken the all-time high, the previous all-time high, then I don't know about you know, like how, you know, what can happen from here, because it's a pretty bad sign, you know, so things might get significantly worse afterwards. But again, I think a lot of it does just, you know, depend on what Bitcoin's going to do. I see some comments about Ethereum has very high fees and things like that when you're sending transactions, and that's true, but so does Bitcoin, and that doesn't really stop a coin in the bull market. You know, it's like there's a really hot girl, but I don't know, but she only dates guys for money. You know, like that's not really going to stop most guys who have money, for example. So And it's the same thing with Ethereum. Like most people who can afford the fees, even if it's not like easy to afford it, as long as you can afford it, that's not really going to turn people off an asset like this in a bull market. You know, like it's just too hot. You know, like with this hot girl analogy, it's just too hot. You don't really care about that red flag. And I know this because it was true in 2017, and it's true right now for Bitcoin. That the Bitcoin fees are still right now pretty high as well. So it's not really that people care about that too much, in my opinion. I think that's quite important to keep in mind as well. So unfortunately, I don't have many nice things to say about Ethereum. Cardano, on the other hand, is something very much different. Cardano has been performing beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And it's not taking us by surprise, ladies and gents, because I drew for you a while back 3-4 important red lines on this chart. And what I said is that if Cardano is able to rise above this red line, I would expect it to rise up to this red line very easily. And if Cardano breaks this red line, I would expect it to rise up to this red line very easily. And we can see here quite beautifully, I mean, you know, pinpoint precision, how Cardano tops out at this level and then tops out at this level as well. So these two resistance areas that I drew for you weeks ago have proven to be completely accurate on this chart, which I'm super happy with. And Cardano now looks to have broken some of these key resistance levels, is in some beautiful price ranges right now. Everyone's begging for Cardano. Okay, I'm looking at it, calm down. Face cam is covering. I'm sorry, let me move my face cam down. Hopefully that's gonna make it a little bit better, but I'm so sorry, yeah. But right here, Cardano is in an absolutely beautiful bull market right now, in a beautiful bull rally, and it definitely, I think, it looks pretty good from the perspective of having cleared all resistance areas. The only thing I don't like about it is it does look like it's overextended, but in big bull rallies like this, being overextended doesn't really matter too much. So that's fine. It's okay. I don't like it, but it's okay. I think it's fine from here. And you know, the next thing that I'm looking at, because this trend is so strong, is I'm looking for signs that the trend might continue, and I would potentially want to jump on the bandwagon with it. And so what I'd be looking at is, do we have any continuation patterns? Do we have any bull flags right now? Anything that could indicate that the trend is pausing, trading sideways until it ends up continuing upwards again. And right here, I think we've got it. We've had a few already. So we've had a bit of a falling wedge right here, another one right here, a very small one right here, a medium small size one right here, and now we're in a much bigger one. So we have had continuation patterns already. They varied in size. We've had quite a few already. Right now, I think is our biggest one. And so if Cardano breaks this resistance level again, I shouldn't say, actually, if Cardano reaches this resistance level again, I think it's going to have a pretty easy time rising on upwards. And the reason for that is that these resistance levels, they should be getting weaker as time goes on. As we keep on rising, they should be getting weaker. And the reason I think they should be getting weaker is if we do zoom out and we look at these resistance levels historically, we've spent less and less time at each of these resistance areas. So, you know, compared to this line right here, we spent less time at this area. Compared to this one right here, we spent less time at this area. So it becomes easier for the trend to rise up as we go on from a technical perspective. And then from a psychological perspective, everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon and ride the train that everyone else is on. So I think that definitely makes the argument for Cardano to keep rising quite strong. All I would be looking for are continuation patterns, and then I would probably jump back on the trend because it means that the trend has paused and it's getting ready to take its next leg up. That's what I'm seeing here. I think that a big reason Cardano is rising so well right now is because Ethereum isn't. And for those of you who don't know, ADA and Ethereum are both like competitors of each other. They both do similar things. And Cardano is just a newer version that's supposed to be better in, you know, depending on your technical now, not from a chart perspective, but from like a coding perspective, you know, depending on that, the actual technology behind it. You know, Cardano is supposedly better. So I don't have an opinion on that because, in all honesty, you guys already know what I'm about to say. I don't care, but I think that's just some important backstory to have. Does Bitcoin have some influence on Cardano? Apparently not right now. Apparently not right now, although Cardano is also down against the dollar just over the past 24 hours. So it is also down by -2%, but broadly speaking, it's really not that bad at all. It's up to $1.28, and I mean, this is a stupid wick which kind of screws up the chart. Let's use Binance here. Yeah, right here, I mean, it's had a beautiful rally, absolutely beautiful. So I'm quite bullish on Cardano. Just looking at this trend psychologically, you know, like I said, I think that Bitcoin should be able to rise very nicely as soon as it bottoms out. I think it should be a quick rise as well. And so, you know, one of the key things to keep in mind is that right now Cardano is performing quite well when it's cloudy. You know, this is like you've got a flower. This is a bad analogy. Here you go, ladies and gents. Let me blow up the camera now because this is about to get impressively bad. You will typically, you know, you will have a flower right here that is growing beautifully in the clouds when there is no sun. And then all of a sudden, a lot of sun hits, you know, like the clouds clear up and there's a lot of sunshine hitting this plant. And if it's already grown so well without the sun, it's going to grow a lot better when the sun finally hits it. And the meaning of that terrible analogy is that once Bitcoin starts shining again and doing things that are very impressive again, if it does, obviously nothing is guaranteed, but if it does, I think that Cardano should have a very nice time rising upwards, purely because it's already performing so well when things are bad. You know, when things are not looking good, it's doing very well, which I think is quite a good sign. So I just want to make sure, guys, if my webcam starts blocking the chart again, just let me know and I will shrink it down. I am keeping an eye on the comments. It looks like, by the way, it looks like the channel shadow ban is not hitting us so hard. So we've got 1,600 views, which is very, very cool. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're enjoying this live stream so far, finding it informative, then please smash up the likes and subscribe on your way in if you haven't already. For the viewers who are just tuning in now, please rewind the live stream. I know that this is interesting and I know it's absolutely spectacular, but the beginning of the live stream is always the best part and you've missed it. So to make sure you don't miss it, you can subscribe and tick the notification bell, because the beginning is always the most important. That's where I give you my core analysis, and it hasn't changed. And if you want to guarantee that you don't miss the notifications, then you can click on the first link in the description down below, which will take you to our free Telegram channel, where I also notify you about our live streams. If you are interested in VIP, where you can see exactly what I'm trading, where, why, with all the details, then you can follow these 2 clicks on the screen at the bottom as well, and these will give you the directions for how to join VIP. Just go to send message and ask me how to join. As mentioned before, I did actually trade this move down on Bitcoin. This yellow line here was my entry level at $46,000, and each of these green lines, 45.7, 43.5, 42, are my targets, and so far I have made a 35% profit on this position. My stop loss is at break even, so I have 0 risk on this trade, and I've already secured some very, very nice profits. This coming directly after my previous trade, which was a long position on Bitcoin, where I opened a long position at this blue arrow and closed it at this blue arrow. So I made an easy 66% profit on this rise because I was trading it on leverage. So that's 2 very, very nice wins in a row. I think there might have been another win before this. I can't actually remember. And so it's gone pretty well. I did stumble a little bit towards the end of January, where I had 2 or 3 small losses in a row, minus 20%, minus 11%. But really pulling it back, I've now had plus 50, plus 60, plus 80, plus 35 today. So very, very happy with it. VIP members inside of our group that have access to all of this plus a lot more, pulling really, really nice profits. This is one of the older messages, but another one that came in just very recently mentioning that this guy made 1.47 Ethereum. Another one over here mentioning that he's lost $30,000 or euros, but then just yesterday made 25k. So absolutely killing it in these markets. I'm still not sure if this is 25,000 or 25 euros, but I'm pretty sure it's 25,000. And if so, definitely a very, very impressive gain, because in one person, this guy has been able to reverse an entire what is this? Well, just an entire track record of losing, I suppose, because this person mentioned altogether he lost 30k, and then just in a day, yesterday, has made back 25k. So results have been super, super impressive. And if you want to join our group, then the steps are on screen. My assistant is here right now. It's the lowest prices we've ever offered. And by the way, there's one more spot we have actually, I mentioned when we pass 1,000 VIP members, we're going to close that yearly discount, the biggest yearly discount ever, even bigger than the new discounted prices. We've got one last slot for that available for you. So if you want to take it, we have passed 1,000, but if you want to take it, you're in. Then follow these steps on screen, ask me about VIP, and I'll give you the information. You guys are asking me about the Ethereum breakout right now. Ethereum didn't break out. It's moved about $20. So you know, it's still, you know, like I said, I expect that it can go all the way up here and still get rejected. I fully expect that to happen. So obviously I would like it to pump higher. I think it's still possible it could pump higher, but I don't think that Bitcoin is done. And if Bitcoin isn't done, then I'd be surprised if Ethereum can move higher, you know, without Bitcoin support, basically. I'm going to start going through your questions in just a second now, so please drop them in the comments. And as usual, make sure that you tag me at FORFLIES like this in the live chat so that you guarantee that I actually see your message. Thank you all for tuning in today. 800 likes. Let's get it up to 1,000. We can do that pretty easily from here. If you haven't already liked the video but you find it useful at all, then please do so. I will start going through your questions now, like I said. Any questions? If you got a chart you want me to look at, you have you know, like a good or bad trading experience, you want to tell me about a trade you made and get some, you know, here's some of my thoughts on it, literally anything, just let me know. What are my VeChain predictions? I don't have any VeChain predictions. Okay, guys, so I'm not going to look at shitcoins. Let's just get that out of the way. If you're offended by that statement, then you're definitely asking me to look at a shitcoin. So I'm not looking at shitcoins. I'm not looking at any altcoins that that I can't trade on leverage. So just to be clear, all of the trades I make are made on 3 exchanges primarily, actually just 2. Bybit and Femex. Femex is the one on screen right here. These are the 2 main exchanges I use, and I only really trade the markets in this list. So Bitcoin, Cardano, Link, Litecoin rarely, EOS rarely, bcash super rare as well, Tron, XRP. You know, these are the main coins that I trade. I'm sorry, this was the wrong list. Right here, yeah, including YFI. Tron is not in this list. I trade Tron on a different exchange. Link. These are the main ones that I use. That I trade, and actually if you want to trade on Femex, it's a great exchange. Their volume's good, they've got good liquidity, there's no KYC required, which is one of the biggest benefits of using the Femex exchange in my opinion, and they allow leverage, so you can trade this normally. You can just deposit Bitcoin on there, you can trade all of these things, including gold, which is pretty good. If you want to join this platform, it's way better than Binance in my opinion. I've used both, and I strongly feel that it's better, not least because Binance has some major screw-ups with certain flaws that they have in their tech, which I'm not going to talk about in this live stream, but those of you who have watched my earlier live streams, you've heard me say what they are. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to make these live streams negative, but way better, much better than Binance in terms of stability as well. Binance has been going down a lot lately, Femex hasn't. So it's definitely the place to be. There's a link in the description which will give you some free money to trade with. So you can deposit some money. It will give you up to $600 for free, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that, I can't remember. Yeah, trading bonus of up to $600 right here. It'll give you up to $600 free, and you can trade with that to kind of familiarize yourself with the buttons. And as usual, if you want to watch my tutorial on Femex, then you can type this into the YouTube search bar, open a new tab, type this into the YouTube search bar, and you can watch my video on the Femex tutorial. Transaction fees minimal, the basic small ones of the rest of the industry. What is the best option for US people? I don't know. US people can use a bunch of different things, but Femex, for example, I've heard that US people can use Femex, although I'm not sure. I certainly know it's possible with a VPN, although I'm not allowed to recommend that. And yeah, it's on you if you do that, but I know a lot of people that do have never had an issue. And if I'm not mistaken, you don't even need a VPN for Femex, although I wouldn't risk it. If I was going to use it, I would use a VPN. Like I said, link is in the description, so you can sign up right there. Everyone's talking about Cardano right now. People are getting super excited. Let's try to keep the excitement to healthy levels, I think. I would prefer to start with questions on Bitcoin because I'm really not interested in these shit coins. I'm gonna have to go on a shitcoin rant today, aren't I? Because I think there's a lot of people who haven't heard this from me in a while. But you know, one of the key things for me is I don't really pay attention to these other altcoins purely because they you see, the main thing with these altcoins is, like, I look at ICX, for example. ICX is probably a good example right now. ICX against the dollar, sure, let's go against the dollar. Okay, it's done nothing interesting, so it's not a good example. Binance coin is a good example. Let's look at Binance coin. This is actually a very good example because this is going to piss a lot of people off. But that's fine, you know, like, I'm not scared of that. Binance coin has done very well. It's, you know, just from the beginning of this year, Binance coin was trading at what, $36, and now it's at $207. Very, very impressive gain. Very, very impressive gain. Let's measure this percentage rise, up by 400%. Very, very impressive. The reason this is happening is because a lot of people are joining the Binance platform because they're the biggest exchange, which also means that they're the cockiest exchange, which makes me hate them, among a few other things. But they have been rising very well because of the user adoption, which is great. I'm happy for them a little bit. Hate them for the most part, but happy with them. Happy for them. And so this is good. However, the problem with these kind of coins, and Binance is probably an exception because it consistently has performed well over the past couple of years, like really good. And actually, kudos to them. Like, I talk a lot of shit about them, but their coin has performed really well, so that's good. But other coins that people want me to look at, Cardano is a good example. These coins, they stay dormant for a really long time, and then they finally pick up at times where you can't really expect it. And the problem is that you would have been losing money for so long on a coin like Cardano until it gets a big pump like this. Because, ladies and gents, the last time Cardano had a pump like this, let's trace it back, let's trace it back, let's trace it back, 1,057 days ago. So that's nearly 3 years ago. 2 years and 10 months. 2 years and 11 months, actually, in my time zone, because it's March here in Dubai, is how long ago Cardano has made a move like this. So you would be underwater for a really bloody long time if you bought Cardano a long time ago. And you would just be waiting, and I use this analogy of, you know, I'm not even going to say it, but you would just be waiting there and waiting and waiting, and you wouldn't make any money. You'd be in a loss for years until you finally have a chance of breaking even, for example. And you know, now is the time where these altcoins pop off, so it makes a little bit more sense to hold them. But for the most part, your success, and this is the main thing, your success as a trader when you are holding coins like Cardano is not in your hands. You have to wait for it. And these rallies are really dangerous because those of you who've been watching any of my live streams before the big crash, you will remember that I was warning you very strongly on this YouTube channel about the possibility of a major drop like this. You guys remember it all on this run up. Drop yes in the comments. Say I remember this in the comments if you remember it. I was talking about this a lot. You will have really, really nice, sexy rallies like this, and they will always come crashing down eventually. It's super, super normal. And so a lot of people are getting triggered right here. So completely expected this. You know, like, if you guys are getting triggered, just leave. This is not this channel is not for you. This is real trading we're going to be talking about. And so you know, like, it's not even an investing channel. If it's investing, then, you know, you can get super excited about that. But you know, what we had right here, yeah, a bunch of you guys remembering, there you go. You know, we get these really, really strong rallies, And I do warn you that these big crashes are super possible. And these crashes come down even harder with only one exception. One exception is Binance Coin. Binance Coin is the only interesting exception where it actually... So as much as I hate it, I have to make it very clear. They perform really, really well, Binance Coin does. But these kind of coins like Cardano, I mean, you already see this. I mean, you know, it drops like a stone after these rallies. It's done it before. It's done it every time. My goodness. You think now is going to be an exception? You think we're not getting a drop like this again? How many times do I say this? How many times do I say? Those of you who are subscribed to this channel, you can vouch for me in the comments right now. Every time we get a rally like this, I'm that one party killer that ruins all the fun, telling you that we are definitely getting a crash like these eventually again. You know, obviously nothing is 100%, but as close to 100% as possible without being 100% certain. The most recent big example I gave you was on GameStop, where, I mean, this chart says it all really, although it's not the correct chart, but it's a very funny one nonetheless. Let's look at GameStop on the New York Stock Exchange. You know, I mean, it was when GameStop was trading around over here is when I was telling you that it's going to crash down massively. And that's only because I didn't look at the chart before this, but it was super, super obvious. So you guys all, yeah, you guys see it. LMAO, they want you to pump it, not tell the truth. Yeah, but I'm not here to pump it. First of all, I don't think this channel has enough strength to pump any coin, but even if it did, that's not what I'm here for. You know, like, here's the thing. Look, if it's making you money really, really good, keep the money safe. Don't fuck it up. You know, you've made some profits. Don't lose it now, because I promise you, everything's going to come crashing down eventually. It's super obvious. These things always happen. Cardano is not going to make an exception here. I did just give you very bullish analysis on the 1 hour time frame because its trend is great, and I definitely anticipate that I'll be trading this relatively soon. However, it doesn't mean my head is in the way. No, it's not. It doesn't mean that that Cardano isn't going to crash down eventually. I said the same thing about Bitcoin, even though I was taking long positions. I took a long position on Bitcoin at the crucial danger zone that I outlined, despite telling you that I was expecting a drop like this. So, you know, it's possible, believe it or not, it's possible to trade these things and still have analysis that tells you that we might go in the other direction. So it's not all about that pride. You know, sometimes you see a very easy, good, safe, healthy trading opportunity, and you can just take it. And that's what I saw right here. I saw a very easy, healthy, safe trading opportunity with this long position, even though I fully knew that the possibility of a big dump was very likely. In fact, I closed it right when that dump initiated. You guys saw it inside of the VIP group. Right when that dump initiated, this is where I closed that position. I even have proof of it. If you guys want to see it, I can pull it up on the screen, but most of you have already seen the proof, so I'm not going to show it again right now. But I think that makes it very, very obvious. So, you know, yeah, these coins can keep blowing up, but the point is you have to wait for it. They have terrible crashes afterwards. So while you're waiting for it, other people like me will actually be making much more money because we're trading Bitcoin on leverage. And I'm not saying it's better. It's very risky, but not as risky as altcoins, in my opinion. Very risky, but still works quite well, in my opinion. And crucially, you know, you have control of where you can make money on a consistent basis throughout time. You know, these Cardano holders, they've been underwater for 3 or 4 years. You and I, we already know that most people who bought Cardano in 2017, 2018, they've already sold it. So they're not benefiting from this big rally that Cardano is in right now, which I think is very, very important to keep in mind. Alongside that, you know, you also don't have much control of where the trend is going to go. You just have to keep on sitting there, and so, you know, when that big crash eventually comes, most people on that big crash that eventually comes to assets that look just like this, that looks like just the preview. Look, you don't need to look further than Cardano's history. Like I said, Binance Coin is an exception. Binance Coin, it moons, it does retrace downwards massively, but it actually does quite well. So it's very much the anomaly, the exception to the rule. But these coins, they do end up trading down massively. And so you might end up making a shitload of money, and you might end up being very rich temporarily. That's typically how it goes in crypto. But then it will drop massively, and you'll sell at maybe like a 2 times profit, you know, or maybe just that break even, maybe even in a loss. That's typically how it tends to go, because Cardano right here, it's had an absolutely terrible you know, bubble pop cycle right here. It's in another one right now. It's undeniable. And eventually this thing is going to crash. I don't know if it's going to crash from here, or if it's going to crash from here, or from here. What I know is that if Cardano breaks this red line, it's probably going to go up to the next one. From the next one here, by the way, the only other red line I can draw is the all-time high. So very, very sexy price targets here. But eventually I would expect it to crash anyway, and most people, they'll get screwed on these crashes. The alternative that I'm presenting to you is what I'm doing, which is what I consider to be much healthier trading, because it's trading these moves that are a lot more obvious in my opinion, trading them on leverage. Those of you who tuned into the live stream right at the beginning, you will remember what I was saying, where I mentioned that Bitcoin, if it ends up trading sideways in this range, I said this in all of the previous videos and live streams, if Bitcoin ends up trading sideways right here, I mentioned a lot of times that I would expect Bitcoin to break downwards. That's quite easy analysis to give. You know, that's quite easy for me to say. The reasons were a little bit more complex, but those of you who were subscribed to the channel, you knew exactly what they were. And they're a little bit, you know, I can tell you them right now if you want to hear them, but for the most part, I don't need to repeat it because I think a lot of you already know it. You know, it definitely was quite easy to predict this move downwards if we started consolidating sideways. And so that's what I did. That's what I traded. I mentioned that I've entered a short position at $46,850. This yellow line is where I entered my short position and I traded it downwards. On this move, I made a 35% gain already just today. You know, right now it's moving closer to break even. I don't know, it's still like in a 10% profit. It's still nice, but to put this into perspective, you know, this 35% gain, this is actually an unfair example right now, but Cardano from this red line to the next one rose by 30%. This is quite an unfair advantage because this isn't actually typical. This is just a one-day price action movement, and it's very much the anomaly. You know, any other one-day period, it doesn't move up by much. You know, like plus 10% here, for example. But even on its best day, I've beat out the market in Cardano just by trading on leverage. And you know, I think that this was quite a safe move to speculate on, because I literally drew these red lines saying that if we pass one, we'll probably hit the next one. So I think this was a safe speculation, but most of them are not. Most of them are not safe speculations. And so I spotted one that was, and I was able to trade what I consider to be quite an obvious move with a little bit of leverage, so that my reward was multiplied, in this case by 5. I used 5 times leverage, which in my opinion is quite small. Someone in the comments actually said that 5 times leverage is super safe. Look, no amount of leverage is safe, but broadly speaking, it's difficult to screw up if you use 5 times leverage, in my opinion. You know, like you would have to do things wrong, like on purpose, in order to screw up on that level. And so this is the alternative I'm presenting to you, because these kind of opportunities, these plus 35% I made here, the plus 60%, plus 80% that I made on this trade. Look, this is super common, you know, so I've already beaten out the market on for Cardano in this same 7-day period, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let me throw this into a calculator just out of curiosity. The numbers are a little bit misleading because I didn't close a 66% profit in total. Probably very close to it, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, but you know, if I were to throw in 1.66 multiplied by 1.35, assuming I closed my whole position at 35% profit today, that would multiply my balance, starting from $100, turn it into $220. And you know, we take it back to Cardano and we look at, in this same 7-day period from this range, Cardano's only risen up by 56%. So I think, yeah, that proves it pretty well. You know, whereas my gain would have multiplied my account by 2 times, trading what I consider to be quite safe moves on Bitcoin, the speculator would have made 4 times less than me, and he wouldn't have had any control of his destiny. Now, look, if you don't have a pair of balls and you don't actually want to get out there and take a little bit more control of what you're doing, then that's fine. You can stay an investor. I'm going to keep my massive ego, and I'm going to keep enjoying my Ferrari and playing these moves on leverage, because this is what I enjoy, and this is what I find much better success in. It's much more predictable, much more consistent, and crucially, it's bigger. I see very little downside to this. I'm not trying to sell this to you. If you are now considering, because of what I said, trading things on leverage, then research it, because it's dangerous. Because the flip side to it, just like these shit coins, is that you can lose all of your money. And you can lose it pretty easily. The difference is that I think the main problem is that if you lose all of your money on a shit coin, it's usually relatively slow. On these leverage pairs, it can happen really quickly. But I think the risk is bigger on shit coins because they encourage you to hold them for a long time, and that means there's a lot of opportunity to lose. You know, like 50% when you sell it, and then kind of you know, carry on holding it or whatever. And so definitely research it. And if it is something that you're interested in, look at that dropping pretty quickly right now. That's a very quick drop. Look at this on the 1 minute time frame. But if you are interested in doing it, then like I said, I'm using Femex. The link to it is in the description down below. Some beautiful Ferraris behind me by the sounds of it. The link to Femex is in the description down below for you to check out. You can sign up to it using my link below. It'll give you a free trading bonus, which is some free money for you to trade with when you sign up, which you can use to learn about the exchange, and it will help the channel out as well. On top of that, if you're completely new to the concepts that I just described, then the content inside of the VIP group is made for you. It will definitely teach you about what leverage means, how I use it safely, what buttons to press, different things like that. We've got a bunch of tutorials on it, so if you want to learn how to use leverage, how to apply leverage to the markets, you can type this into the YouTube search bar in a new tab, and you can watch my full tutorial on how to use this Femex platform as well. Phil in the comments, you can 100% profit your money as many times as you want, but you can only lose 100% of your money once. Perfect. You know, it really does put into perspective how losing money is super dangerous. And we're going to talk about that more, because this is not a channel that bashes on other people making money. Yeah, I love laughing at people as much as the next guy, especially in crypto, because a lot of people in crypto are idiots. But crucially, you know, like if it's working for you, please just do it safely, and we will all be happy. You know, keep your money safe. You know, if you're in a profit, there's no harm in selling. You know, you don't need to be too cocky about it. I think that's a big part of it. You know, greed will make a lot of people lose money in these markets. That's something I want you to keep in mind. So if it works for you, great. This is what works for me, and I've given you the reasons why I think it's better. It's more consistent, it's more predictable, and the gains are better. Very, very big points. Very, very big points. I don't like speculating on the market the way shitcoin traders do, when I can take it into my own control, and all I need to do is be very sure about some psychological and technical analysis, and where I'm very sure about these two things, I can apply leverage to a move and make much more money than the shitcoin trader. That's my take. Does Femex have a demo account? No, I don't think so. No, definitely not, if I'm not mistaken. But you can, there's no KYC, so you can sign up like right now and deposit some money. And when you deposit some money, depending on how much you deposit using my referral link, you will get a trading bonus of up to $600 for free. So you will be able to trade with another $600 completely free. They just give it to you to trade with. Unfortunately, this is something that kind of incentivizes gambling, but the way I'm telling it to you, if you just use it to learn what the buttons are on the exchange, and essentially use it as a demo account, you don't lose anything, because it's money that you didn't have to begin with. So I think that's pretty cool. FORFLIES, what shisha am I smoking today? You're smoking some shitty alfucker mix. I actually I don't know. I don't remember. I went to one of the shisha lounges just near the office here in Dubai, just before this live stream. But there you go. There's my alternative. A few people mentioned that you really needed this perspective. You're very welcome. I'm glad it's helped you. As people always say, this is the channel for sober perspectives on the market. You know, very calm, very reasonable perspectives on the market. If you're finding it at all useful, then please hit up the like button as we go along. I really am enjoying this live stream. I can tell you guys are as well. Femex is so much better than Binance. Yeah, it really is. It's much better, 100%. I see all your questions for VIP. If you haven't already reached out, but you are interested in seeing how we trade in real time, plus all the other benefits, then the steps are on screen for you to join. And depending on which package you take inside of the VIP group, you will also get, for example, one of our courses for free. And I think that's a very, very powerful combination, because if you don't know what I'm talking about, then we teach you all about it inside of the course, and then you get to watch me implementing it inside of the VIP group. So a couple questions which I think are important. But first of all, Alan, thank you very much. Absolutely mint analysis as always, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you as well. Very glad you're enjoying it. One of the key questions that I want to answer right now is just coming in the comments, which I think a lot of people are wondering right now. Is this the end of the dump? And the reason this person is asking, is this the end of the dump, is because Bitcoin has just had a relatively sharp correction upwards. However, we've already had some little reaction rallies upwards. So if I zoom in to, I think the 15-minute time frame should be enough. You can see how throughout this little downtrend, since we broke below this pennant, we have actually had a few V-shaped corrections. So this one is definitely the biggest one so far, if I'm not mistaken. Let's actually calculate this to double check. This is low to high 5.5, low to high 3.5, low to high 4%. So yeah, this is the biggest reaction rally that Bitcoin has had so far in the space of only about 5-6 hours, which is good. It's a quick one. However, we are meeting an old area of resistance. So someone's already mentioned in the comments that Bitcoin has struggled at this level a few times now, just during this live stream. And crucially, if we zoom out to, for example, the 1 hour time frame, we can see quite clearly how this range that we're at right now, just following the blue dotted line, because that is the current price of Bitcoin. This range that we're in right now, I can see how my camera is blocking the chart now. Hopefully that's fixed it. I'm sorry about that. Just looking at this range, this was the top of a previous consolidation range, and this was where the market found a reversal, and another reversal right here, and another reversal right here, and another support hit right here, and we already found resistance here just earlier today. So there's a lot of reason to expect resistance at this $45,000 range, in my opinion, at the moment. And that means that I'm not actually quite optimistic that Bitcoin is going to recover upwards from here. Again, it would be very cool if it did. I would stand to make a lot of money because I still have investments in Bitcoin, obviously. But I think that Bitcoin has a stronger probability of dropping lower because I don't think that it's bottomed out in a good place yet. You know, Bitcoin's low on this chart on Coinbase is just below $43,000, and the previous all-time high was this red line. So we're really close to it. I don't see why we can't hit it. I think that Bitcoin can definitely get down to this previous all-time high at 42K, potentially even dip a little bit lower towards 40,000, and then get the big bounce up. That's what I'm anticipating inside of this market right now. That's what I think is likely to happen. Thank you all for tuning in today, by the way. We've just hit 1,000 likes on this live stream. Thank you all very much. That feels great. If you have enjoyed this one, then please hit up the likes. If you're finding this channel useful and it's your first time, then you can already tell that this is different. This channel is unfiltered and raw and very, very realistic about the markets. It does mean that we're unpopular, and if it's something that you prefer, because there is no space for being irrational in the markets, then here you are. This is the place for you. Welcome to the FORFLIES channel. Don't ask me why it's called FORFLIES. I am going to start ignoring comments asking me to analyze shit coins though, because I've already said my piece on why I'm not interested in it. Got a question here from a VIP member on my Telegram account. I want to ask you a question and challenge you on something you said on the live stream. No question, Ethereum is performing like shit, but technically we have not closed a weekly candle below the highest close in 2017. Therefore, has Ethereum truly dropped below the all-time high? I think we need to see a weekly candle before we can see that. Before we can say that. Yes or no? Good question from one of our VIP members. Let's go over to Ethereum and let me tell you what this person asked me again, in case you didn't catch it. And do other people say their crypto live streams are rational? Because if they do, that's directly offensive to me. I'm gonna take offense to that. But yeah, I'm gonna go through that. How many subscribers are we up to now? I don't know. Are we at 69,000 yet? Because we were pretty close. Let me just find out how many subscribers we're at real quick, because I'm curious. We're close to 69,000. We might have hit it today. Yeah, we hit 69,000. Bam, there we go. Actually, let's see. For the sake of you guys, the crypto community, let's see if we can hit 69,420 subscribers today. We are about 300 away from doing that. No, about 400 away from doing that. Just under 400 away. So I'm curious, can we hit 69,420 today? That would be funny. I'll need to get a screenshot of that. It'll please the immature side of me. Let me break down this guy's question on Ethereum. It's a very good question. For those of you who are just tuning in now, there's some crucial backstory you need to know about, which is that earlier on in this live stream, I gave some analysis on Ethereum saying that no more subs after 69. That's fine. It'll happen anyway. Well, then we'll just have to aim for like 169K. Let's do that. Let's do that instead. But what this person asked me is, are we actually bearish with Ethereum because Ethereum hasn't closed below the previous all-time high? So what I did earlier on in this live stream was I gave some analysis on Ethereum saying that I'm very concerned about it because Ethereum has fallen below the previous all-time high that it set. And if we zoom out onto the daily time frame, you can see it right here. Now, these lines, they vary depending on which exchange you're using. Some exchanges, the all-time high is the blue line. Some exchanges, the all-time high is the green line. Doesn't matter. It topped out over here, and we've already dropped below it. This person is asking, since we haven't had a weekly candle close below the previous all-time high, does it count? Here's the thing. I think that it does count for two reasons. Maybe more. Number one, the first reason is that we didn't drop below the all-time high by a little bit. We dropped by a lot. Ethereum, and I've already measured this for you, from this blue line down to the current price has dropped by down to the low of today, has dropped by 10%. So Ethereum has dropped by a lot below the previous all-time high. If this was going to be just a fake out or just an anomaly or just like a flash of weakness, not something too particularly concerning, it would have been down by like -2%, -3%, maybe even like -5%. But -10% is a breakout in my books. You define a breakout how you like. I think 10% is enough to qualify for being a breakout. And most people, they would define it as being either 1 or 3%. If it's between 1 or 3%, it's considered to be a breakout. And so this was 10%. That's number one. That's the first reason. The second reason that I think this is still quite bearish for Ethereum is because even if Ethereum did end up closing its weekly candle above the previous all-time high, the fact that we have spent so long down here, if we zoom in onto the 1 hour time frame, we've spent a pretty significant part of today below the previous all-time high. 17 hours we've spent below the all-time high. The fact that this time period below the all-time high was so significant, in my opinion, means that Ethereum has displayed a lot of weakness here. So even if it recovers upwards and it closes here and then it trends up, I would still be concerned about the overall weakness temporarily of Ethereum. Broadly speaking, the thing I have to draw your memory back to, ladies and gents, if you've been in the space since the time, late last year, is that Ethereum moved really slowly at first, and when it was supposed to move really quick, it still moved really slowly, and only when I expected it to slow down did it absolutely rocket ship upwards. So I definitely think that Ethereum right now is in a state in its market cycle right now, and its market cycle means all of this. Its market cycle moves at very unpredictable times. So I definitely think it's super weak right now, but I don't think it's going to stay this way. I think that Ethereum eventually will end up rallying very nicely, and you guys know my targets for Ethereum. I'm expecting like $2,500, $3,000, $5,000. I'm expecting all these big price targets for Ethereum. And so I expect that they will happen eventually, but right now, this is very bearish. Yes, we did not get the daily close or the weekly close below these lines on the UTC time zone, which is the main time zone for trading. That's the London time zone for those of you who are curious. It's the London time zone now, while in the winter time zone. By the way, this is the first winter I've spent in my life outside of London. That's pretty interesting. Literally just dipped on London for the whole winter. Pretty cool. But yeah, it definitely is a case right here where even though we didn't get the weekly or daily close, it still, in my opinion, is definitely quite bearish. If we didn't get the weekly close below the previous all-time high, it would be a little bit better. But look, just the fact that it got down here and it traded here for so long is bad enough. You know, it's like, if the analogy here is cheating, you know, like it's like saying, yeah, he kissed her, but he didn't sleep with her, so it's fine. You know, like okay, maybe it's fine. Depends how you define cheating, but it's still bad enough that I got to the kissing stage. You know what I mean? Bad analogy, but I think it makes sense right here. You know, like yes, Ethereum might not close below the previous all-time high, but the fact that it went down there is bad enough. You know, like that enough is pretty bad in my opinion. Someone mentioned that Cardano has reached this resistance area. Not on my chart. Hasn't reached it on my chart, so not something to look at for me right now. I hope that answers your question. Please let me know on Telegram if you're happy with that response or if you want me to go into it a little bit more. Oh, and the highest weekly close. This person wanted me to look at the highest weekly close of 2017. I don't think that the weekly close is important. The weekly close is a little bit lower. Actually, we still traded below that. Did we? I think so. It's a little bit lower, but I don't think that's important. You know, I'm looking at the all-time high. That's what I think everyone's attention will that's where I think everyone's attention will be. Guys, let me know if you have any more questions in the comments. It's a terrible, I know it was just such a bad analogy. I don't know why I said it. What takes 4 days to go up and only takes 1 day to go down? The US democracy? The analogies aren't bad if they make sense. Yeah, Aram, it's just the thing on this channel. We call every analogy bad as an inside joke. It's a very bad inside joke now that I say it out loud, but yeah, I guess anything in crypto goes up in 4 days and drops in 1 day. FORFLIES, do you get confused when you trade on Femex and you use a different chart on TradingView? Why would I get confused? No, there's no reason for me to get confused. It's the same as any other platform. It's just more stable and there's no KYC, so it's a little bit better in those two ways. I also have direct contacts to staff in that company. So, you know, one of the key things I say is that if you ever have an issue and you've signed up with the link in my description, you will be able to ask me if you have any issues, and I can escalate it to the team a little bit faster for you. Let's see what else we have in the comments if we have any questions regarding some of these coins. Is Cardano a good buy, or might it hit the $1 range again? I can't tell you if it's a good buy, although it is in a consolidation range right now. And consolidation usually is what precedes a big move upwards, and it's in a very healthy trend. So you do with that information what you will. I can't draw a conclusion for you. You did ask me if I think it's going to go down to $1 again. Let's take a look at that. Let me use... let's see what's a good... Tether US is a good chart to use for this. $1 is down here. Do I think Cardano can fall back down to $1? Well, that's a 33% drop that you're asking for. So that's a big drop. No, I'm sorry, that's a 25% drop. It's 33% to recover it. Oh, this is the other thing, by the way, that I should mention again. It's been a while since I've said this. A 25% drop will require a 33% gain to make back. So that's important. That's just a general important thing for you to keep in mind. If you lose 25%, you need to make back more than 25% to break even. Look, 25% down and to the same level up, plus 33%. If you lose 50%, minus 50 right here, if you lose 50%, in order to get back up to break even, you need to make 100%. Something to keep in mind. You always need to work harder to recover a loss than you do to lose money. Again, when I say this out loud, it probably sounds obvious, but you need to hear it to really understand why that's so important. It puts extra weight on not screwing your trading up and making bad decisions. I was actually talking to a VIP member just before this live stream, who I know is here right now. Don't reveal who you are because it's not safe for you. You're gonna get spammed and stuff like that. But this person mentioned to me that when he joined VIP, made a lot of profits, and then because of various things, including some emotional trading, because of a personal, how do I say, annoying problem that he had in his personal life, this person ended up screwing it up and trading really badly and losing all of his profits that he made inside the VIP group. And what I mentioned, what he said is that he would trade really well with good discipline. Let's blow up my camera now because this is some real talk right now. You guys, can I give my opinion on Ripple? It's shit. I always just end it right there. I'm sorry. Why is the camera weird today? Does the camera look weird? Is it smudged? Or is it, I don't know. It looks a bit, the color is a bit off. But what this person said is that 95% of the time he would be trading very well. He would be trading with good discipline, doing the things that he knows he needs to do 95% of the time. And he says it's just that oh god, someone I'm not even gonna but that 5% that he doesn't trade well, that he doesn't exercise good risk management, that 5% is what screws him up, and it's what results in these really big losses that he's had across the board. And you know, I'm familiar with this problem because I did it myself. You know, like, it's very common that you would be trading very well for the most part, you'd be doing everything you need to do for the most part, but then you'll have a lapse in judgment and you will just kind of let go of that good trading discipline that you know you should have because, I don't know, you just you got a little bit too excited, a little bit pissed off, something like that. Ripple people are angry. I lost on Ripple too. I am lost on Ripple. Yeah, sure, okay. But yeah, this guy mentioning that the final 5% is what really screws him up. And my response was this. You know, in a game of trading, you only really have one job at the beginning, the one main job, which is to protect yourself from losing money. Because if you're losing money, you don't have any space to make money because you got nothing to make money with anymore. So, and I've already given you that analogy. If you lose 50% of your money, you've got to double your money just to break even. So it's not easy to break even after losing, you know, like 50% of your money. And so the primary job that a trader has, in my opinion, is protecting you for is protecting yourself from. I need to stop reading these comments. You guys are saying some really weird shit right now. Someone says I'm sleeping with his sisters. What the hell? So I need to stop reading these comments. But that's the most important thing. And so what I likened it to, I wrote an ebook about this, not a real book. I'm a young guy. What do you think? I'm writing real books, right? I wrote an ebook and I narrated it as an audiobook and I made a video course side by side with it. This is all one product, which is, it starts at $37. You can pay anything you think it's worth. The link is in the description. It's called Trade Insane. So you can buy that package where I wrote this ebook. And it was a collection of my top lessons that I learned as a trader. By the way, it comes for free to everyone inside the VIP group. So if you're already a VIP member, don't buy it. If you want to join VIP, don't buy it because you'll get it for free. But the Trade Insane package, one of the key things that I mention is a pilot. I give the analogy of a pilot, and this is a very good analogy, where a pilot's job is to fly a plane and do it safely. A trader's job is to make money and ideally do it safely. By the way, the Burj Khalifa looks beautiful. Look at that. I mean, can I show you how high? Look at that. Oh, this is my microphone. Can we see how high the Burj Khalifa is? My God, look at that. That's my microphone again. Look at how high it goes. You can't even like fit it on the screen. It's a really, really cool backdrop. Anyway, just something that that caught my attention. I'm not sure about you, but where was I? I'm sorry, I get so easily distracted. I met up with someone yesterday who says he thinks I have ADHD, which would make sense because I'm a crypto person. But the pilot, his job is to fly the plane safely, and so It's like if a pilot said, I do all of my pre-flight safety checks correctly 95% of the time. And that 5% of the time, I just can't be bothered. I get a little bit tilted. I don't know, my girlfriend argued with me, so I'm in a bad mood today, so I'm not going to check the flaps on the wing today. You know, I'm just going to check the right wing. I'm not going to check the left wing. Whatever, you know, like I get it right 95% of the time, right? And, you know, if you heard this, you'd be losing your shit. You'd be super pissed off, and it would be completely crazy because that's just an absolutely insane thing to say. And that's his job. His job is to do it safely 100% of the time with no exceptions. That's what his job is as a pilot or her. And in the game of trading, it's very much the same thing, in my opinion. You know, if you are doing things correctly for the most part, but you screw it up on that 5% or that 1%, that's not okay. You know, just the fact that it happens in very small, isolated instances doesn't make it okay. Your job is to prevent those things from happening. You know, if a pilot only did his job correctly 95% of the time, anything short of 100% is absolutely, undeniably unacceptable. And until and unless you take that perspective on in your trading, you are going to continue making money slowly and then fucking it up and losing like 30% in a day, and then revenge trading and losing like another 20%, and before you know it, you're down 50% and you got to double your money just to break even to get to where you were a week ago. Until you stop screwing up that final 5% or 1%, whatever it is, maybe you screw up 50% of it, until you stop that and you do it as you should be doing, with the correct risk management, using stop losses, not trading with too much money, not trading too frequently. You know, as soon as you correct these things and you don't screw it up again, that's where those big tumbles and falls stop happening. Very, very important to keep in mind. I can't make this point clearer than that. There is no room in a healthy trader's life that has good, healthy account growth. There is no room for screwing it up 5% of the time. It's not acceptable. And the only profession that I think is a perfect analogy for this is a pilot, surgeon. You know, like a surgeon only does his, you know, like whatever, I don't know, cleaning his tools 95% of the time before each procedure. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. It's absolutely unthinkable that somebody in these professions wouldn't do what they have to do 100% of the time. And the only reason that you would think this doesn't apply in trading is if you see trading as a lottery ticket. If you see trading as a lottery ticket, you will treat it like a lottery ticket, which means with no respect, and you will get absolutely screwed. I think that's really important to keep in mind. Very, very important. So, there you go. That's a quick take on trading discipline, which I think is very, very important, and a lot of people need to hear it. You know, if you're screwing up more than that 5%, obviously there are much more fundamental problems, which is actually an easier problem to solve, believe it or not. Because then it just means you need to learn stuff. You know, if you're, and that's easy. You know, like learning this stuff you can do in like a day. You know, like we've got our FORFLIES courses and stuff. You can check them out. Link in the description below. First link, it'll take you to our Telegram channel, and from there you can ask me how to join VIP. Ask me for information on the courses, for example, and we'll give you everything there. You know, that's easy. The difficult part is, you know, you've already learned it, but you just have lapses in judgment where you don't apply it. And you know, you can fix ignorant, but you can't fix undisciplined. That's important. That's important to keep in mind. Someone should quote that. Someone should quote that and put that on their fridge. You can fix ignorant, but you can't fix undisciplined. Very, very important to keep in mind. So that's one of the key things I wanted to touch on with this person's experiences. You know, he's been doing well, but he screwed it up because he started trading emotionally a little bit, and there's no room for that in good trading. I can't emphasize that enough. If we can keep the chat to, it seems like half of you guys are Dutch today. If we can keep the chat to English, that'd be great, because then I can read it too. Let's see what else we have in the comments though. How's the Sheikh? I actually didn't meet the Sheikh. I met his assistant. Have I been driving on the Dubai Autodrome? No, I really want to. I really, really want to, but not yet. Yeah, Alan in the comments kind of got it. FORFLIES loves the Big Ben sandwich? What's that? I shouldn't have said that. That was probably something like a curse phrase, wasn't it? Angelo, you wanted to see the view, but you didn't want to screw the stream. Yeah, it was super irresponsible for me to do that. Why would I do that, right? But clearly I don't think normally. So. You have a bad haircut. I love my haircut. Thank you very much. I really, really like it. I think you're just being rude to me. You really like it. Look at this. How could you not? I can't move my head properly because I don't know where the camera is. It's very confusing, but I think it's really good. Let's see what else we have in the comments here. If we have any other questions that that you want me to go through other than stuff I've already covered, if we can try not to make me repeat myself, that'd be good. Let me minimize this now. That's the was there anything else I wanted to say? So there's that 5% thing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You see that the other thing is see, there's a lot more that goes into it than just this, and if you're not aware of it, you won't know what to fix or how to fix it. So obviously I've gone through all of this quite a lot inside of my trading journey, and that's why I'm able to talk with a lot of confidence on these subjects. If you haven't, that's fine. You know, you'll get that experience, and a lot of the time you need to really screw it up and lose the money until you can actually learn the lesson. But until that time, you're gonna constantly be losing money. So, you know, like ideally you learn that lesson sooner rather than later, so you don't need to pay such a heavy price for it. As we go on, thank you very much for the likes on this live stream today. We're up to 1200. So if you are finding this useful, engaging, exciting, if you enjoy the dose of truth and realism on this channel, then please like the video. We are now just 200 subscribers away from reaching 69,420. So let's see if we can aim for that number, and and make sure I can get a screenshot of it, because that'll be a cool memory to keep, a cool milestone. I don't want to look at Cardano. I've already looked at Cardano like 3 or 4 times this live stream. Nothing has changed. It's just getting a little bit closer to that resistance area, but it's not there yet, you know, so I don't know what you want me to say about it. Thank you for your effort and inspiration and good mood. Keep up the great work. You're very welcome. I was looking forward to the next live stream. Haven't done one for a while, obviously, before. I mean, it was only like 3 days, but it felt like a while, and I definitely like doing them. So for Bitcoin, by the way, if Bitcoin breaks above 55.5, I would expect that Bitcoin can continue up to at least 46 to 47. If it breaks 45.5. If it doesn't and it drops down, then I definitely think we're going down to 42, because this right now for Bitcoin is a very good chance to do something special and spectacular. Bitcoin right now, in my opinion, has a very good chance to do something spectacular. So if it gets screwed up, that to me would be a very strong sign of the bears being in control, because it means that Bitcoin has screwed up a good opportunity. So it's in a very bad place. That's how I would see it. FORFLIES, more of a swing trader or scalp during the day? I'm definitely not a day trader. I don't trade multiple times a day. I don't even trade every day. I think it's stupid, and I think it's dangerous. I think it's definitely not worth it. I've tried every style of trading apart from long-term trading because I'm young and I don't have that kind of patience. And the one I've stuck to is, actually I can't even define it because it's not swing trading. If it was swing trading, I would have entered a short position right here. See, the issue, okay, here we go. Let me blow up my camera now. I can talk about this for a while. Let me first define a few things. In fact, I'm going to keep the chart here. First of all, what is swing trading? Swing trading is you identify the swing of a trend and you would trade its direction, in this case downwards, for example. Or over here, you would expect you would identify the swing of a trend and you would trade it upwards. This would be a swing. This is a standard swing trade. You trade like it swings upwards. Look at that. This is the swing trade. This is another swing trade, swings downwards. That's called a swing trade. A day trader is somebody who would zoom in onto the 1 hour time frame or lower, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, depends on how intense their ADHD is. And they would be analyzing moves like this and trying to trade anything they see, whether it's downwards, upwards, sideways, circles, whatever the hell. They're on cocaine or something because they're that crazy to be day traders. Primarily the people who trade as day traders are people who are not good traders. Usually people who have lost money or usually come from a place of desperation or both. That's typically the kind of person you see being a day trader. And crucially, these are people who think they are under the false impression that the more they trade, the more money they'll make. This is the false impression that most day traders have. The more I trade, the more money I stand to make. And if you do some bad math and linear calculations, that would be true. Because the higher frequency of trades with an 80% success rate, obviously the more money you're going to make. The problem is that trading too much, analyzing too much, makes you subject to bad decision making and screwing up good things. So with that analogy I gave you of the guy who made a lot of profits inside of VIP and wiped all of his profits out, he's now back down to where he started in VIP. He did that because he had a burst or a few bursts of over trading and over analyzing, which he shouldn't have done, and he did it because of emotions. So he did it because of some problems in his personal life. So it's little bursts like that that will really screw you over, and people start revenge trading. Because what you don't see at first is the first element of a day trader is they're trading more because they think that a higher frequency of trades will make them more money. But then it won't, because they've overanalyzed and they've overtraded and they've done something a little bit wrong. And so they will actually lose money. And now, because they're a day trader, they are under the false impression that by trading more, they can recover that loss and then just stop trading for the day. And we all know how that goes. They'll lose a little bit of money in their day trading experience. They'll think that they can recover it back up to break even, and they'll just end up lower than where they started. They will sleep in their filthy, smelly bed with Doritos and beer cans next to their bed because they're low-life degenerates. And they'll wake up and try to do the same thing the next day. This is what day traders are. Clearly, you can tell I'm not a day trader either. I'm not a swing trader, and I'll get to why in a bit. But the third and final type of main trader is somebody who trades very, very long-term moves. They're not really even traders. These are people who would open a position, like 3 months ago, and they wouldn't touch it until, like 6 months later. That's what I'd start to, then I'd start putting those people in the box of being an investor. If you're an investor, that's fine. If you're a day trader, it's not okay, but whatever. If it works for you, cool. If you're a swing trader, this is usually the most exciting one for people because it's a hybrid between being the shit day trader and the very, very smart, patient, very admirable old white guy investor. This is the middle, the swing trader. This is what people tend to really like the Wall Street guys that everyone wants to be like because they're billionaires and they inherited billions and they're investing it, making their 10-20%. They're happy with it. There's nothing more exciting going on in their lives than seeing percentage numbers on a screen. Swing traders bang on in the middle. But it's not that simple. It's not that simple because the issue with being a swing trader is this. In order to trade swings, you need to call the top or the bottom of the trend. In order to, I'm going to show you the chart again. In order to trade the swings right here on the 1 hour time frame, you would need to successfully go short or sell this top. And the issue here lies with this. In order to trade this top, there would have been many more tops that you could have chosen from to trade. do you trade this top, or, you know, we play the chart forward. Do you trade, let's see, a little bit faster. 4-hour time frame is better. Do you trade this top here? Do you trade the next top? Do you trade this top? This top? Which top are you trading? In other words, how many chances do you have to screw up your trade until you are correct? Well, in this isolated example that I've shown you, which I'm only showing you to prove a point, as you know, in this isolated example that I've shown you, let's take a look. We have one top here, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the wick, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 potential times to call a top inside of a period of about 12 days, or about 14 days. Let's calculate this. Inside of a period of 13 days, you have 10 opportunities to call a top, which means that if you were to play this randomly, your chance of succeeding is 10%. In other words, your chance of doing this correctly is very low. It's very difficult to call a top. They often come in at unpredictable times, which makes it nearly impossible to be a swing trader by definition. Because by definition, you would be what's called catching knives. This is what's called a knife. This is what's called a knife. Something that's very dangerous, very difficult to time, very difficult to do. It's possible. Obviously, anything is possible, but very difficult. Realistically, in the real world, you're not going to do it because it's difficult. You know, like it's not easy to do something like that. And this is what swing traders try to do. They try to trade these big moves. That's reason number one, and that's a big reason. There's a lot of opportunities to screw this up. You have a lot of opportunities to call a swing incorrectly. That's number one. Number two is that things are very polarized at the top and the bottom of trends. It's very hard to be a contrarian at the bottom of trends like here or the top of trends like here. It's very hard. We managed to do it quite well on this YouTube channel because our analysis is very grounded. But for most people, including me as well, it's very hard. And so your psychology is not helping you here either. And the reason I'm answering this, by the way, somebody asked me what kind of trader I am. I'm about to define it for you. This is why I'm not a range trader. I've disqualified day trading because it's crazy. It's just irresponsible. I've disqualified investing and long-term trading because it's boring. And it will make you, like, it'll probably make you money, but it will be really slow. I mean, like, you may as well just, I don't know, work a job at that point. It'll probably be better for you. But, you know, like, that's not it. And the reason it's not swing trading either, and these are the three main ones: day trading, swing trading, long-term trading. The reason it's not swing trading for me either is because it's very hard to be a contrarian at these big reversal points. That's also something important to keep in mind. It involves you catching knives, which is very, very dangerous. If you tried to trade this bottom, where would you call this bottom? Would the bottom be here? Would it be here? Would it be at the top of the green box, in the middle? Would it be slightly below? You know, I mean, because, you know, afterwards we drop even lower. You know, like where is the point that you catch the knife? You know, I mean, you may as well roll the dice because it's not very easy to predict these things. And so I think that's very, very important. It's not easy or realistic to expect yourself or anybody else to be a swing trader. It's just statistically very difficult to achieve success doing that. And so my take here, my approach, is to be what I call a range trader. And I'm sure there's a technical word for this. If there is, please let me know in the comments because I don't know it. But if there is, please tell me. But my approach is to trade mainly gaps. These are areas where it's very predictable for the price to jump from one area to another area. If the price reaches one area, it's very likely that it's going to reach the next one. Every single trade that I've made this year, if I'm not mistaken, has been something like that. And that's why my success rate has been so strong. Most trades that I made last year have been like that as well, where I would try to trade a range. I would try to trade a gap because it achieves a few things. It minimizes my risk very, very small. It makes my risk very, very small. It minimizes my risk a lot. And I'll show you why in a second. And it means that my potential reward is massive because I'm trading a gap. And so I have as much reward to gain as the gap is big. And then I can apply leverage to it to multiply that reward. And my risk will be quite small because of mitigating factors that make the risk a little bit easier to swallow. Kim asking in the comments, what is the city behind me? This is Dubai. This is downtown Dubai. That's the Burj Khalifa behind me. But this is what I'm interested in. It's these gaps. And so I'm going to bring the chart back up and show you what I mean right here with some real examples. The most recent one that I outlined inside of the VIP group, as you guys know, this is a trade that I entered just yesterday. It's been about 36 hours since I entered this trade. I traded a move on Bitcoin between this yellow line and this green line. And the gap on this chart is, if I show you, the entry price was... The entry price was right about over here. I'll draw this with a yellow line. And the gap I'm looking to trade this down to is down to this red line right here. The reason that I found this to be very predictable was I expected that if Bitcoin fell below this pennant, which I outlined for you was very possible, very likely. I gave you the reasons why. You know, on this chart, there was Ichimoku resistance, there was EMA resistance, which, by the way, I will look at later on in this live stream as well, if I remember. I identified a gap right here where if Bitcoin was able to fall below this range, I wouldn't expect anywhere for Bitcoin to find support until it reaches the $42,000 range. And I've already outlined why, but crucially, it's because there just historically has not been much trading between 46,000 and 42,000. Right? The only trading that Bitcoin has had between this red line and this yellow line happened over here. Super, super important. There have been other ranges where Bitcoin traded a lot more, and these become points of control on the chart. These are where the chart will typically gravitate towards big areas of volume traded, like wherever there was a big area of price action where a lot of Bitcoins were exchanged, i.e. there was a lot of volume. It's at those levels that the price might typically gravitate towards. And right here, we have a gap between this red line and this yellow line, because you can look at it very clearly. In fact, let me show it to you on a different chart, which is a bit cleaner. This chart will be easier to understand. 46.8. This was my entry level. Let's remove this green box. Let's remove this line. We don't need this line either. The only trading that ever happened between this blue line and this yellow line was here, here, and some fake outs, these don't count, and here. Which is to say that Bitcoin has not spent much time trading in this area at all. So I expected that this area will function as a gap. Meaning, if Bitcoin falls below this yellow line, I would expect that it's going to fall right down to this blue line. This is the exact same analysis that I used when I traded Bitcoin upwards a week ago, where I expected that if Bitcoin managed to rise above the previous all-time high over here, above $52,000, I would expect that it can rise very high. And in this case, there was no ceiling to the gap because it was a new all-time high. So this was actually an easier trade to make. It was just, there was no ceiling, so it was easier to make. But it depends on how you define easy, because when you're going down, you have price history, and that makes it easier too. So it's not like a bull market is easier than a bear market. You know, both are easy in their own ways. Both are difficult in their own ways. But What we had here was I expected that there would be a big gap, a theoretically unlimited gap, but probably just up to $60,000, where Bitcoin would end up trading higher if we broke this resistance. We go back to the element of risk. Why is the risk lower? The risk is lower because when Bitcoin is setting new all-time highs, it typically tends to rise very quickly and very aggressively. Very, very important. If Bitcoin is setting a new all-time high, so this blue arrow is my entry, this blue arrow is my exit. A very, very clean trade. I entered at the bottom of this rally, I exited very near the top. 66% profit made on this because I applied leverage as well. As usual, there are tutorials and full explanations and information pieces on these trades that I make in real time. So you get to see everything while I make my trades and develop my strategies. But and inside of the VIP group, steps are on screen right here. But back to the chart right now, the probability of Bitcoin rising above the previous all-time high over here and then falling back down like this is usually quite low. Usually we will break the all-time high and then we will rise very nicely afterwards. There are a few more factors which can make a trade like this safer. For example, if we reach the all-time high and then we take another day or two to break it, that usually means that we've reached the all-time high, we've spent some time correcting the trend with a time-based correction. You guys remember near the beginning of each live stream, I talk about usually two key corrections. Number one, time-based corrections. Number one, price-based corrections. Number two, time-based corrections. And this was a time-based correction here. So if you get a time-based correction, it makes it even more likely, because the trend has now corrected, it's got that rocket fuel back in it, it makes it even more likely, in my opinion, that if it breaks the all-time high, it's probably going to rally upwards. This is where the risk becomes really small. You can see that in comparison to swing trading, where there are a lot of opportunities to call a top. Look, 4 right here in the space of 2 days. 4 opportunities to call a top. Right here with this trade, I'm just trading above the all-time high. This is super simple. Like if we reach the all-time high and we've corrected before we pass the all-time high, then I think the probability of Bitcoin rising up massively is very high. This is really simple. Like it's really simple. The risk is very, very low. There's not much room to screw it up. And like I said, the reward is massive because I made 66% profit on this move. And if you look at the equivalent swing trader that might have sold Bitcoin at this price level down to the current price, this is a minus 22% gain. So this is only a third of what I made on my trade. This person would have made in 7 days. I made in how long? In 2 days. I made 3 times more profit in a third of the time. This really puts into perspective how much better this strategy is, in my opinion. Because I'm trading something that's safer. I am in control of my reward. It's theoretically unlimited and I can apply leverage to make it even higher. In this case, I use 10 times leverage. I already said it's safer, right? And what's the final one? There's less, it's safer, number one, because, there's good reason to expect a breakout. And number two, because there's less opportunity to there's less ambiguity. Like over here, like I said, there's a lot of different times where you could have called the top in the market. You don't get that when you're trading these ranges. Like either you break the range or you don't break the range. There's no, maybe there's like 14 different potential tops in the market. Like there's a lot of subjective analysis that can happen there. There's a lot of, like this is black and white. Either we are above the green box over here or we're not. And as long as we're able to get above that green box, this is where I would expect that Bitcoin can break up. So I hope that made sense. I've really tried to condense something that I do regularly and intensely into a 5 or 10 minute explanation. But I hope that makes sense for you. And it helps you understand a little bit more about what I'm doing to describe my trading style. This is what I'd call trading a range. This is why I'm not a swing trader. This is why I'm not an investor or a day trader. And I've found something that works for me. I like to trade these gaps that are predictable because I think they're a lot safer. You know, the thing is, a lot of people will look at my trading and they will see that for a time I might trade very, very consistently. Like I'd make a lot of trades in a short space of time, and then I might not trade for even like 1 week or even 2 weeks. You know, it's possible that I don't trade for that long. And people will ask me, Sammy, why are you not trading? You could be making more money, stuff like that. You know, like there's a lot of opportunities I'm missing. And really my perspective is that I'm not seeing something super safe for me to trade right now. So why should I touch the market? You know, by not trading, it's not that I'm sacrificing healthy positions that I could have made money on. It's that I'm preventing myself from taking dangerous positions on. And I think that's really, really important. So please let me know in the comments if that helped you out. And I'll do more things like that as we go along in the YouTube live streams. We have passed the 2-hour mark, so I'd like to go off relatively soon. If you haven't already, then please hit up the like button on this live stream. It does help me out. If you found it useful, if you found these explanations helpful, if you're interested in this very real trading talk, then this is what the channel is all about. Each live stream we dive into subjects like this. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help out. I need to send off a message to my assistant really quickly, and I will come back to the live stream in just a second. I'll only be 1 minute. All right, that's sent off. By the way, I see all of your inquiries about the VIP groups. So what we do in the VIP group, as usual, is I will tell you what I'm trading, and I will also extract these lessons for you, and I'll give you the explanations behind why I do what I do as well. So there are even voice messages that go into the VIP group. If you like my voice, which obviously you do, you will also like those voice messages inside of the VIP channel. And this is where I'm breaking these things down for you in all the detail in real time as well. So I've been making really nice profits lately. A bunch of other VIP members have as well. This is, you know, one of my favorite examples of a message where this guy made a 52% profit with his first ever position. You know, these are people that are new to the market. They don't even know what going long means when they join VIP. You know, like they don't know these mechanics of trading that are very, very powerful. They don't know what they mean. They don't know how to use them. Don't know what buttons to press. Don't even know where to sign up. And these are people who, after going through our VIP content and learning from our tutorials and watching me trade in real time with and reading the explanations, listening to the explanations I give for what I do and things like that, they are able to pull quite impressive results even as new traders. I haven't shown you for a while now that testimonial of the guy who turned 30K into $1 million. But as I said, that guy, he didn't know any. This was probably our most impressive testimonial inside of the VIP group, because in 10 months he turned $30,000 into $1 million. And in terms of percentages, that's what's sexy about it. You know, like it's like turning 3K into 100K, which is super impressive. Most of you guys watching this video right now, you probably have $3,000 to your name. It's not to say you should trade with it, but the point is that's the percentage gain that this guy made inside of the VIP group in less than a year. He had access to our best package, and that's typically where we see the best results anyway, but it's super achievable with the other packages as well that we have available. And so the steps, like I said, are on screen right here. And this guy, again, I mean, just showing you how it's possible, obviously not likely, but how it's possible to turn around, you know, major losses that you might have made over weeks and months. It's able to turn around most of it. It is possible to turn around most of it inside of a day. This is a recent example of a VIP member who did exactly that. It really is popping off. There's a lot going on inside of the group beyond just the benefits that I'm highlighting for you. So if you want the information on it, then the steps to join are on screen right here. I'll go back to the questions in just a second now. We are, by the way, only about what, like 200 subscribers away from the target that we're aiming for today. So it'd be very cool if we can reach that. What do I think of all the Dutch people here? I'm a little bit confused for how we have so many Dutch viewers on the live stream today. But I don't mind it because Dutch people are cool. Great stream as always. Thank you very much, Phil. I'm glad you're liking it. I'm glad you're liking it. I do want to cover... Thank you, yes. Thank you all for tuning in as well. Kim Shope, thank you. Thank you as well. I do want to touch on some of the key indicators that I'm using. My voice is slowly morphing from Russell Brand to Alan Rickman. I don't know Alan Rickman. I would prefer to be closer to Russell Brand. Although he doesn't actually have a very deep voice, but he has a very good voice. Maybe sing something for us in some future streams. No comment. No comment. I'm not going to say anything on that yet. Yeah, great stream. I really appreciate the info. It's my pleasure. Absolutely, you got it. The indicators I wanted to show you. Let's go into that. I want to show you some of the momentum indicators and the Ichimoku cloud. First of all, the 1 hour EMA ribbon has been rejecting Bitcoin continuously for the past 2 or 3 days. It's been pretty brutal for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is finding resistance here again right now as we speak. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the reasons that Bitcoin ends up dropping lower. On the 4 hour time frame, it's a little bit better, but if Bitcoin does rise up to this area now, it does illustrate some resistance. Like I said, I don't think that we dropped low enough, so if we did rise up to this level now, I would expect a rejection. If we drop a little bit lower, just a little bit lower, $1,000 or $2,000 lower, I would expect that the next time we hit this area, it won't be resistance because we have a very good support hit in the bag. If we get that, I would be quite optimistic about this, definitely. The other thing I wanted to mention, the Ichimoku cloud. 4 hour Ichimoku cloud has just turned bearish, not good. 1 hour Ichimoku cloud has rejected the trend now. So I'm very glad we used this in the analysis for me to enter the trade. As soon as the price touched the cloud, it dropped down. Very, very reliable indicator. If you don't know what this indicator is or how to use it, then you're missing out on one of the best indicators in the whole space, in my opinion. You can type this into a new tab on YouTube and you can watch my tutorial on the Ichimoku cloud, which will teach you how to get it, how to use it, my best practices, and how I use it as well. So there's a lot about it in there, and this video, like with any other tutorial I've got, is part of the wider FORFLIES Academy courses, which you can gain access to by messaging me here to ask for information on them. And this one is one of the free videos which you get to trial the courses with. It's actually an old one, so the other videos are much better, but in terms of the teaching and the explanations, it's the same. It's just the recording quality and my voice got a lot better. Because you guys don't know this, but if you watch my older videos, you'll really see how much I grew. First of all, there was no face cam before because I was shy, but also because I was a lot younger. My voice was very different. But anyway, back on topic, Ichimoku cloud here definitely proved to be a problem for Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin just kind of ends up trading sideways into tomorrow, which will be the 2nd of March in my time zone right now, then I definitely expect that Bitcoin can start to see some resistance around these you know, kind of areas like what is this, 45,500 up to 46,700. Definitely think there could be some resistance to expect around there. Let's see, is there any other 1 day time frame? Obviously is still giving us some support, but it's really far away. I don't think we're gonna use this anytime soon. I don't think the trend's coming down that low. Sorry, gonna stay here for that long. Yeah, and then I think final thing I should reaffirm is that I definitely think that there is some space for Bitcoin to drop even below the 40k range down to potentially like 38k, but that's the final point I would expect a reversal. If Bitcoin fails 38, I would expect that we fall down to 35,000, maybe even $30,000. It wouldn't be good. I would be quite worried. But I mean, yeah, that's where I think the trend might end up dropping to. I want to take your final questions before I head off. I am starting to get a little bit tired. It's 2:20 a.m. here, so I am getting a little bit. I'm starting to run on an empty tank, I think, a little bit now. Let me know if you have any final questions that you want me to go through. I'm not going to look at altcoins. I'm not interested. Haven't been for years, and I'm very happy about that. Please let me know if you have anything else before I go off. Do I stick to my original setup as always? Good question. No. I mentioned a complex indicator. I was hoping no one would ask about that. Now I'm a little bit too tired, but I'm gonna go through it. First of all, thank you for staying on this live stream for so long, CJ. I've noticed you've been here from the beginning, so that's pretty impressive because we're over 2 hours long now. Do I, first of all, this question about changing my strategy, a lot of the time I do, not a lot of the time. Well, so I end up changing every setup because I don't complete the setups. Over here, for example, this most recent trade I entered, I only had 3 profit targets, which would in total close 40% of my position. So that still leaves 60% of my position if we reach my final target, which is why the final one is to be determined. I might close more in between, which I did. I might close more at break even, different things like that. These things, they always change, and it really depends on my short is not close to break even at all, by the way, like at all. So I'm not worried about that. We're still, it's more than $1,000 away from breaking even. So more than 1,500 actually. So nowhere near breaking even. I mean, it's still in a very nice profit. I would change it based on watching how the trend moves. Maybe the trend moves a little bit stronger than I thought, so I will loosen up my take profits. I will take a little bit less profit off the table, be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe the trend moves weekly, so I would close half of my position at break even, different things like that. These are the kind of things I amend on the fly, and I do it as a result of you know, just having seen and done all of these things. I've got quite a bit of experience. I say this is a super young guy, but I mean, crypto is a very young space, you know, like 4 years in the space, which is how long I've been here, is very substantial. You know, you will see a lot because these markets move quite quickly. And so just kind of, it almost becomes a touch and feel kind of thing, but I detail the reasons for why I do something inside of the VIP group, including, you know, like adjusting a position on the fly. There's nothing wrong with adjusting it. As long as you don't, you know, like remove a stop loss or something stupid, there's nothing wrong. And usually if I'm changing a setup, I would change it to make it less risky. Very rarely do I try to make it more risky. Very rare. A complex indicator. Okay, this is definitely going to finish me off. It's the MRI, momentum reversal, a reversal indicator from Tone Vase. Shout out to Tone Vase, by the way, if you're watching this right now. You'll know how... yeah, I'm not in the mood right now. It's like 2 hours long. I'm kind of finished for the day, but this is a time-based indicator, which is here to... yeah, I can't do this. It's here to tell you how much longer a trend can stay, in this case bearish, and there are a few different measures for that. So one of them is I can remove this. Was that the correct thing to remove? I think it was, it's just not loading properly. But one of the key things is, oh, there it is, yeah, it's gone. When you get these A and B letters, they are indications that the trend has been trending downwards for too long. So it should reverse upwards. In this case, it didn't work very well. Actually, they both instigated rallies, to be fair. So for a day trader, this would have been very useful. In the 1 hour time frame, this started a 6% rally. This one started a 4% rally. And this one right here This indicates an uptrend, and Bitcoin trends up from this low, up by 3%. Quite hit and miss on the 1 hour time frame, I'd say, but it's not made for the 1 hour time frame. It's made for the daily time frame and above. And actually, if we take a look at the daily, it predicts some really cool. This is all about predicting where the market might top out. You know, so right here, the 2 is a sign of the trend first being complete over here, and then with a number 1, and with a number 2, it represents that the trend is overextended. I don't know how well I'm explaining this right now. This might be super complicated, but these numbers will represent the number 1 will represent that a trend has completed its adequate time of trending up, and now would be a sensible time for the trend to start reversing and trading down. And if a 1, I'm sorry, the 1 is over here. If the 1 turns into a 2, it means that you've now finished 2 rallies of upward movement without correcting downwards, which is definitely a strong sign of a correction. And actually, the bigger the number here, usually the steeper the correction, which I think is why we had such a steep correction at this point. From there, you will also have other letters which represent when a trend is extended a little bit too far. On the daily time frame, it doesn't seem to be working so well for Bitcoin. So what I'm doing right now, and actually the reason I didn't make a video yesterday, is I'm focusing very much on studying this indicator so I know it perfectly. I'm planning on making Tone Vase and I, the guy who made this indicator, we're planning to make a lot of content together. If you want to watch Tone Vase, by the way, I've been saying this for a really long time. I don't watch any I don't watch any YouTubers for crypto. You know, like I don't watch anyone. I don't consume any content for crypto. I talk to my team, and that's okay. And I'm sorry, and that's it. And it is okay. Tone Vase is the only exception I make. He is the only analyst that I think is worth listening to, and he's the only one I listen to. So if you think this analysis is good, his is great. You should check it out. You can type this into YouTube, and he's the guy who made this indicator. Admittedly, it's quite complex, and one of the key things I need to sit with is think about how I can teach this to other people, because it's not easy to teach to other people. The old version was super difficult, but it was still easier than this. So if you know what the old one is, then you definitely will recognize this one. I think this is a better version of the old one. It's just not as easy to understand. You guys are asking about crypto. One person asked about Crypto Kirby. Still very much friends with Crypto Kirby, and I also think he's a better analyst than me. I think he's absolutely great at what he does, but I don't watch his videos. And it's not that I think his videos are bad. I think they're great. Like I said, I think they're better than mine. But and they're the only 2 people, by the way. Tone Vase, Crypto Kirby. He's the only 2 people who I think do what I do better than me. Although they would say I'm being too nice, but Tone Vase actually has said something along those lines. But like these are people I look up to. These are analysts I really, really respect. But I don't listen to Crypto Kirby much anymore. Just Tone Vase, and even at that, Tone Vase very little, because broadly speaking, it would cloud my analysis, and that's why I stopped listening to Kirby. I think his analysis is great, but I don't, because it's great. If I listen to it, I would start changing my mind when I listen to his analysis, and that's fine. But what I do works pretty well, so why would I add too many ingredients to the pot? You know what I mean? With that phrase. So same with Tone Vase. Right, guys, I'm clearly not up to it anymore. 2.5 hours in, so it's 2:30 a.m. I'm gonna head off now. It's been an absolutely great live stream, so thank you very much. You can't find the Ichimoku, Andreas? I'm not sure why that is. It's not been removed. maybe message me on Telegram. I'll try and help you with that before I go off. But if you guys have enjoyed this live stream, then please hit up those likes once again. Thank you all very much for doing that inside of this live stream. This is up to 1,400 likes, which is the highest number of likes we've had in many months, if I'm not mistaken. This is very cool. It looks like some of the shadow ban may have been lifted. I'm not so sure. Maybe it's too early. What was the tone phase indicator name? It's called the MRI, Momentum Reversal Indicator. Yeah. So if you want to gain access to that indicator, you can probably Google it. You can go on Tone Phase's website. But yeah, anyway, it's not for now. If you have enjoyed this, then please do hit up the likes. Thank you all for all the support. If you're new to the channel, then I'm personally very excited as a teenager to hit 69 420 subscribers. We're only 109 away. So if 109 of you, which probably there is 109 of you who haven't subscribed to this channel, if you haven't subscribed, then please do so. I want to see if we can hit that before the stream ends. I think it would just be very cool, because it would be another very, very cool day for the YouTube channel. And as usual, yeah, obviously thank you for tuning in. If you want to join our free Telegram channel, you can do that by clicking on the first link in the description down below. That'll take you to our free Telegram channel, where you will gain free analysis insights from myself and my team. I'll give you some information on the positions I'm taking, things like that. If you want to join VIP, the steps to do that are down here with 2 extra clicks. Click on the first link in the description down below, then down here in the Telegram channel, click on the @FORFLIES button at the bottom of any post inside of FORFLIES Gold, and then click on send message to ask me how to join VIP. And I'll give you all the information about that. Come on, guys and girls, hit that subscribe with all the pineapples. Phil knows it. Smashing up all those pineapples in the comment section. I actually had my pineapple pizza again today, actually, which I shouldn't have done. I felt like a bit of an idiot for doing that, but it was worth it, actually. Worth it for now. Yeah, we're so close to that 420. We are what? We're 60 away now. Every time I ask for it, we get super close. So if there's 60 more of you, I think we can do it. That would be very, very cool. Ryan's asking me what I think would happen to Bitcoin in the next 4 hours. I think that in the next 4 hours, Bitcoin has a probability of dropping lower. Leave this for another video. Do you mean the MRI? 100%. Yeah, I'll make another video. When I understand it fully, I already understand it pretty well, actually. When I understand it fully, and I have thought about how to teach it, that is when I will make some content on it and teach you guys about it, because I think you'll really, really like it. I think you'll really, really like it. There are some weird people in the comments here who don't like pineapple pizza. Ah, Kasim in the comments. How you doing, bro? Shout out to Kasim. The Pipes pineapple pizza is unbeatable. It is. It is. I miss you, man. Kasim in the comments is a guy who I actually only met like a few weeks ago, but we became really good friends here in Dubai, and he's killing it in his stuff back home in the UK. He was here in Dubai and left a little while back. How you doing, bro? Hope you're good. Don't I think that the wick on this dip could be the dead cat bounce? You're probably talking about this wick? None of these wicks could be the dead cat bounce. Unless you mean this one. This is a dead cat bounce. I don't think any of these are, because they're not big enough. But you have to be a bit more specific about your question. Someone asked me if I'm getting vaccinated. Probably not smart for me to answer that, but that gives you the answer. Most likely, I'm not going to get vaccinated. I've already had the virus. It wasn't even that bad. It was bad, but I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. Carl the Moon lives in Dubai. Find him. Yeah. We've I was with him like 2 days ago only, or 1 day ago. So I'm with him quite now. It's 2 days ago. Miss you too, Cassim, bro. Find Crypto. He will have Da Vinci hanging out the back of him. They're both in Tulum, Mexico. They Chris really wanted me to come to Tulum, but I let him down. I feel very bad about that. I might go to Mexico in a few weeks. I'll have to see. I'm not sure about that yet. Definitely want to. It just depends on if things become convenient, because I'm about to buy a house here in Dubai, so it does make me a little bit busy. Anyway, with that, I think I'll be heading off. So thank you all for tuning in. Unfortunately, FORFLIES doesn't have the stamina to wait for the last 60 people to subscribe for that number. I don't even know why I'm so obsessed with it. It's not so important. One final time, if you have enjoyed this content, then you know what to do. And I'll see you all in the next one. All right, take it easy. It's been a great stream. Hope you found it informative. Please keep your